Hello, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the United Stand. It's Manchester United versus Atalanta in the Champions League, and we've got the team news out already. We haven't got to wait 10 minutes for it. So the team news is out. You should see it going across the bottom of the screen as well. Manchester United versus Atalanta, and it is a back five for Manchester United tonight with De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Eric Bailly's come in because there's no Victor Lindelof. Luke Shaw stays at left back, and I mean, I probably would have played Luke Shaw left-sided centre back and put Telles in at left back. But McTominay retains his place. Ollie's Roy Keane. Pogba comes in next to him, which I think is a good idea. Bruno, Rashford, Ronaldo. I mean, look, I'm not overawed with a back five, and I've been in trouble today because I said that Ollie stole it. But I'll talk about that in a moment. But the reality is, it's you look at the team news going across the bottom of the screen there for you, and obviously, we've got the team that will be updated on the screen in a moment too. But the starting lineup is the one that's going across the bottom at the moment. It's a little bit juttery. I don't know why, but it's definitely the right team across the bottom. So it's De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, Bailly, Shaw. So back five with McTominay and Pogba in the two. Bruno ahead of them, and then Rashford and Ronaldo, which I think we predicted all along that Rashford would come in today because Cavani played 90 minutes on Saturday, and there is no way Cavani can play two 90-minute games in 3 days. So he will probably potentially be in. I actually think Rashford will start against City as well. I think against teams like Atalanta and City, you've got to have that pace, and Rashford certainly gives that. What I would say is, and look, famous last words, Telles snubbed again, Donny snubbed again. Obviously, Van der Beek, do we even say he's been snubbed again? Martial snubbed again, I think is more interesting. I agree with what Ricky said on the Sunday night show. I actually think this formation is heaven sent for Anthony Martial. I'm not convinced that Marcus Rashford is a front two player because his link-up play is not very good. But what he is fast, and he gives us that ability to hit the long ball, which we know we like to do. What do you think about is the most important player for us in this current system, says Karen? And look, we've got a new bit of technology now as well, where we can put your comments below us as well. So make sure you smash a like, subscribe, get your comments in bottom right hand corner to subscribe, and super chats and everything like that. But I think that a lot of people like that lineup. I have an opinion. Hello. And I do not like the back five for Manchester United. I don't. It was the reason I didn't want Conte until Ollie lost Liverpool. And I was like, you know what? If we're just going to change, we may as well get Conte. And look, Conte can do a back five better than Ollie. So I just find it weird that we're playing a back five. And look, I said it this morning, and people took it out of context, as they always do. But I said that, look, Solskjaer should have lost his job. What does he do to keep his job? He steals someone else's formation and uses it to stay in a job. Now, people don't like the word steal because it's like he's been round Conte's house and nicked his tactical book. I get that. But what I mean by that is that he's taken, whatever you want to call it, he's taken somebody else's formation to stay in a job. How many times before the Spurs game did we play a back five? Not many at all. When was the last time we played a back five? It was Leipzig a year ago. So this whole back five thing, it's just smacks of pure desperation. And I'm not going to change on that. I said it before. I can support this team and enjoy it winning, but I don't support the people in charge, whether it's the Glazers or I do support Ollie. I just don't believe in Ollie. I don't support the Glazers. I think they are a poison to our football club. But this back five thing, I just find it really hard to understand what we're doing. This was not the plan. He's basically been given the opportunity to rip up his plans when he should have been sacked and do something completely different that we're not equipped for. And we will play this against Man City. So basically, since he should have been sacked, he's changed his formation, he's changed his philosophy and made us into a back five team, which is, he has contradicted himself on this in the past and said that, United have got to have wingers, this, that, and the other. We ain't got wingers anymore. So my problem with it is just that, he has taken an idea that Tuchel and Conte used to stay in a job. That's what I mean about that. People can disagree with it, but I think I've obviously hit a nerve there, haven't I? Because people are super defensive, more defensive than a back five, about me saying that to stay in a job, he's basically ripped up his philosophy. We were a 4-2-3-1 team. He then wanted to go 4-3-3 with one holding midfielder. All this season, we've been 4-2-3-1. And now he should lose his job. What does he do? I'm going to a back five. That's fine. I quite like that team on the screen, even though that's not the team on the screen is not the right one. You can't. All right. Okay. But I think my opinion stands because it's my opinion. I want United to win tonight. Not one part of me doesn't want us to win because I don't want to be playing in the Europa League. And I think if we lost tonight, we'd put ourselves in a real danger of heading back to Thursday night football. So I 100% want us to win, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I've got any idea what the plan is with Manchester United anymore. I don't know what it is because we've spent... The leaked team news is out. The team is going across the bottom of the screen. That is the starting line. Breaking news. The team is a back five again, and I think it's like life, isn't it? Some people can just swallow it and go, "That's fine. It tastes different," And some people are like, "This is not what it's meant to taste like," and I think that's where I am. I'm like, we've been fed something for the last year that was about a back four and a certain way of playing. And now, because he should have been sacked, he's changed his mind and gone to a back five with no explanation. The only reason is I was going to lose my job. So that to me is just the confusing point for me is I don't know what we are anymore. And look, at the end of the day, you either understand football or you don't. Do you think when he lost to Liverpool, he was planning on playing a back five before that? No, he wasn't. Do you think any coach can suddenly say on a Monday, we're going to change to a back five? Of course, he's adopted something, what Tuchel's done, Conte's done. Anybody who's playing a back five, United would have had a look at in that week because it wasn't part of their plan. So, look, football is always about that. Pep started playing tiki-taka, came to the Premier League. You've now got teams like Brighton who do it. So, yeah, of course, steal, take, these sort of things go on. My problem is not the fact that we've gone to a back five. I actually quite like the team. My problem is that our manager has totally contradicted himself because this was not his plan. This is a plan to stay in a job. And I still don't know what we are. And again, look, I've not even mentioned the name. Where's Jadon Sancho? Where is Jadon Sancho? I already feel sorry for Sancho. I hope we won't treat him like we've done with Van der Beek. What's your thoughts, Mark? Well, I had Josh completely forgotten about Jadon Sancho, but obviously I've just remembered. Again, it's another game he's not playing. And one thing I would say about Jadon Sancho is I always associate him with the Champions League. The United channel with 614k subs said Van der Beek isn't proving himself in training to Ollie, and when he starts after 6 minutes, he gets tired. Well, they're talking out their arse failing. That channel's just about propaganda, isn't it? As we know, they've been very quiet in talking about what the real matters are at Manchester United. Rory Saunders, would we be happy if this was the team that Conte picked? And if they ever want to chat, they know where I am, but they bottle it every time. That was the team that Conte picked if he was in charge. I know he's not and probably irrelevant, but just wondering, would you be happy if this was the team that Conte picked? Look, I wanted Conte because we were desperate, Rory. Do I want to see United playing a back five? No, I really don't. Sancho and Greenwood will be in trouble now, playing five at the back, Sancho especially, says Electro. I said that after the Spurs game and I got told it was one game. One game's going to become 3 games very quickly, because we'll play a back five against Man City as well. Did you see the little girl who was... no, not going to read about that. Mark, Ollie is just temporarily stabilising the team after the defence leaked for a month. He's not going to shoot himself in the foot. We need wins, says Karim. We now have Van der Bench and Jadon Bencho, says Faisal. Well played, Ollie. 120 million wasted where we could have spent elsewhere. That is why Ollie has to go, says Faisal. And it's a bit ridiculous to say he's only playing a back five because he wants to keep his job. Ollie obviously wants to win games. Do you realise you've just contradicted yourself in a paragraph? It's a bit ridiculous to say he's only playing a back five because he wants to keep his job. Ollie, this is pure gold. This is a golden chat. Let me just read this back. This is brilliant. This is contradiction in a paragraph. It's a bit ridiculous to say he's only playing a back five because he wants to keep his job. Ollie obviously wants to win games. So it's ridiculous to say he's going to a back five to keep his job, and then you've just said he's doing it to win games. Is winning games not part of keeping your job? Have a think before you type, rocking toes. And Mark, by the way, thanks for all you do and having a voice for us who become fed up with what's happened within the club. I watch every day and you share, says Abraham. Have your own opinions. That's the most important thing. I will talk shit at times. I do. And you will disagree with me, and you will sometimes agree with me. That's the whole point. I don't ever pretend that I'm a voice for the fans, and I don't ever pretend that my opinion's better than anybody else's. What a goal by Chelsea that is. What a ball. Is that Reece James again with the cross? Because it's bloody delightful. Ziyech with the tap in, but it's a lovely goal by Chelsea. I think it is Reece James again. What a best right back in the league in Europe at the moment. Some are saying certainly the best right back. It was Hudson-Odoi actually. What a cross! Wow, I'm so excited to see this revolutionary 7-1-2 formation with McFred in league games, Jaden Lee and Donny and Telesi playing something else as Michael Fetty. Zane Miasi's laughing. I don't know what he's laughing about. You're not even in Europe, Zane. I think it's a 3-5-2. Wan-Bissaka and Shaw are the wing backs. Mark says Carson badly. I mean, that's a great point from Carson. 5-3-2, 3-5-2. That's about all you can call it. I'm trying to think of a third one. But what I would say is, if Shaw and Wan-Bissaka are the wing backs, why would you not try Delo and Tellez, who are better wing backs than Shaw and Wan-Bissaka? I don't think you could ever describe Wan-Bissaka as a right wing back. He's too defensive. 2-back-5 systems with very different principles. One is to get talented attacking wing backs up the pitch to express themselves. The other is for the wing backs to protect the centre backs all game, says Nick. And I think that's a very good point. What I would say is that when it comes to United's back five system, one of my big issues is we've spent £400 million under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over 2.5 years, and it's all been about playing a back four. We're now going to a back five, and we're not prepared for it. We can only play 2 strikers. That means Martial, Cavani, Greenwood, Sancho, Lingard. What role do they have in the team? And we need 3 centre-backs, and we've only got Varane, Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, really. We've only got 4. You need, 1 injury and 1 tiredness, and who's playing centre-back? So we're not even prepared for this system. We'll end up playing McTominay in a back 3. We'll end up playing Luke Shaw in a back 3. So I like the form. I don't mind the formation, and I think it can work. My problem is why, and I think Gary Neville said it superbly on Sunday. There's nothing wrong with the formation, but why is it coming out in early November? Because it's desperate. It's a desperate attempt to try and, start winning games, which he's got every right to do. But I worry about it. I mean, what is the future of a Jadon Sancho? He doesn't even fit in the system. I mean, Van der Beek's finished. I don't even talk about Van der Beek. I like him, but he's finished. But Jadon Sancho, Mason Greenwood are going to get limited opportunities. Centre-backs, we don't have enough. So I just don't like a back 5, really, because I don't like playing 5 defenders. Whether they're wing backs or not, I don't like playing 5 defenders when we've got so many attackers. It was the same with England in the Euros. United can't be a game-by-game job survival club. Ollie needs to quickly implement a style of play and stick with it. Stop chopping and changing, says CM. Well, I think Rocking Toes is right in that sense that, look, he's trying to save his job. Why do people have a problem with that? He's desperately trying to save his job. So he's gone to a system where he doesn't concede goals and tries to score 1 or 2 at the other end. It's what we did after Istanbul last year. The football might not be great, but you grind out results. Ollie's done it 3 or 4 times. So I think that's what we're going to see now. But the problem is, it's not sustainable that United are going to play like this. We'd have to sell 3 or 4 players and buy in probably 2 more decent fullbacks and centre-backs. So I don't know what the long-term plan is. Thank you, Mark, for being a real always. But look, I agree. We are very fresh after a very bad run, and he's just trying to stabilise the ship and stabilise his job. And he'd probably, if you offered Ollie at the moment a draw against City and a draw tonight, I think he'd take it. As fans, we want more than that because we want to be entertained. But Ollie's just trying to steady the ship. You're right. YUFC, who is an Ollie-inner. Mark, what you expect Ollie to do, let's be honest here, it's kind of strange to criticise a person who's trying to save his job. Again, I find this one hilarious. It's kind of strange to criticise a person who's trying to save his job. It's not strange if you don't want them in the job. How is it strange to criticise someone trying to save their job when you don't want them in the job? It's not strange at all. It's an opinion, mate. I wish people would just, without being abusive or condescending, just understand some people think he should be sacked and are confused by what the long-term plan is now. Because as Ian says, Greenwood, Martial, Sancho, Diallo, Rashford, might as well sell them all. 74 million for Sancho. And this is the problem. Are we a back 5 team now? Because if we are, that is a very good chat. And also, can I just say, some people will say, well, maybe he'll play a back 5 in some games and a back 4 in others. Do you think our coaching network is good enough to sustain 2 systems that we interchange between? They can't even manage one. We've got to pick a formation and a style of play, and it's either going to be this one or we're going to go back to the one we did before. Answers on a postcard, because I'm confused. Supporters need CDM, Lindelof as CDM. We need Conte, Ollie, hold my back five without CDM, but with Lindelof, grind out results FC. My God, we've fallen. Never felt this disconnected, says DK. The only thing I like about this setup and lineup is that Fred's not playing. I don't like this formation against Atalanta. Fullbacks will get caught, says Sean Turner. Interesting. I would rather Fred play with Pogba than McTominay play with Pogba, because I don't like McTominay's mobility. At least Fred gives you that. Does it matter? As long as we win, we all want the manager out. But if the formation is somewhat start working, giving us some somewhat style of play, says Arjun. You're right. Tonight's about winning, 100%. And I'm happy that Pogba's playing and Bruno. I like it when those two play together. And with a back five, Pogba might actually get a little bit of freedom. It might be a system that really suits Paul Pogba, actually. Dazzo says, now that Ollie's playing two up front, he will start not playing Greenwood. He is ruining some players at United. Van de Beek, Diallo, Sancho, all to save himself, says Dazzo W. Is this Manchester United or Ollie buying himself more time, says Connor? It's a formation which is trying to manage the shortcomings of playing Ronaldo. He's crucial, shouldn't be dropped at all, but the balance would be found over 3 or 4 games and we can go back to back four, says Rowan. I disagree, Rowan. I think you absolutely nailed it, that this is a formation to get the best out of Ronaldo. But if you go back to a 4-2-3-1, you won't get the best out of Ronaldo. So, I think the most valid question at the moment is how long we're going to play a back five for. And I don't think Ollie and his coaches are good enough to go, right, we're playing Watford, let's play a 4-2-3-1. Right, now we're playing Chelsea, let's go back to a back five. Oh, we're playing Villarreal, let's play a back four. And now we're playing Arsenal, let's play a back five. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that. There's not many teams that change around like that. Tuchel does it a bit, but he's a top coach, isn't he? Mark, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with changing formation. However, how often do you see top managers changing formations after being beat? They stick with their plan. Ollie is not, says Nash. Yeah, and I think Nash has probably hit the nail on the head. That's my big problem. I feel like we've got a new manager now. It was like, my plan is this. It's gone really bad. 1 point from 12. I lose to Liverpool. Right. He's basically sacked himself and taken another formation to stay in a job. That's basically how I feel as well, Nash. And it's a weird thing, because why didn't he just stay with what he was doing? Because it wasn't working and it was crap. So he's now bringing in something else, which is not what we were being sold. So it's a bit like, it almost is, what if Ollie goes on and he's really successful with the back five? That'll be a really weird situation. It'll be a good situation, but it'll be a weird situation, because we'll go, remember when he should have got sacked and then he just threw his plans in the bin and did something else? Ollie is not trying to save his job. He tries to save Champions League and top four for the club in his heart. Ollie will never put himself over the club, says JP. Used to see you make excuses for Ollie's tactics, but since you've seen the light, it's now comforting fans are seeing the light and how inept he is, says legendary Milan. Said this 2 years now, he's damaging everything. Fahim says, what position do you think United will finish in this season? Mark, says Fahim. 3rd or 4th. Yeah, I think if we play like this for the rest of the season, we will get 3rd or 4th, I think. It's fine to criticise the change, but because he shouldn't be in a situation where he has to save his job anyway, he said last game, this isn't his plan, it's desperate, says Jake. Mark, this other channel people I think are invading United stand. They're used to, that's it, United fan infinitely better, says Andy and Bruno. And well, yeah, but this is not a dictatorship. This channel is not a dictatorship. It's not like, that's not what it's about. I don't mind if people have a disagreement with what I say. I'm not going to change my opinion, and I'll defend it vehemently, but I will not, you've got a chance to have your say. And, there's a few opinions I've read out already tonight that I don't agree with. And I'll let it lie, and the chat can have their thoughts on it. And there's more on the screen as well. Freaky franchise there. We're complaining about Ollie dropping certain players, but we also did want to see this kind of ruthlessness in order to be successful. Manchester United comes first. What's the ruthlessness then? I don't understand that. I don't understand that one. But, maybe I'm thick. Brian Spence says the board has to go. I think we are going to get smoked by Man City, says Brian Spence. But I don't think we will get smoked by Man City. And we're not playing Man City, we're playing Atalanta. But I don't think we will get smoked by Man City, because with a back five, you're not going to concede many chances. And on the break, we're a counter-attack. It's like what Roy Keane said at the weekend. Ollie's just going to have to sit in and hit teams on the break. It's what he likes to do. And that's what a back five is all about. Mark, if you were to list our current Premier League managers in a competence list, Ollie would be the bottom 3, unacceptable. And we're not finishing the top 4 as treble champ. Just get Mark as our football director. I'm sure you'll bring Man United a football fans club and help lay out plans for the greater good. Mate, I get criticised because Fabrizio Romano tags me in a tweet. Imagine if I was director of football. Marky, I can't see how people say that Ronaldo has shortcomings in his game. Yes, Eddie is more mobile, but in true United way, with wingers pumping crosses in, Ronaldo would be perfect. Ollie must not change Ronaldo, says AJ Singh. I think we'll end up 4th or 5th. 3rd is hard because Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool, no way we're going above them, says Dexter. I would say 3rd optimistically, but 4th more realistically. I can't see Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham having the consistency that we've got. And I say consistency in the loosest form of the word because that's our biggest problem. But I do also think that the quality we've got a Ronaldo, we've got a Bruno, we've got a Pogba, we've got a Varane. They don't have that. Mark, stop these predictions. Villa, Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Atalanta. We're not better than Liverpool, City, Chelsea. Top 4 is going to be a stuff, says Legendary. Never heard that word, but there you go. I'm not Ollie in, Mark. I can see he's not good enough, but criticising Ollie for not being good enough is expecting me to beat Bolt in a race, says YUFC. Goes with back 5 with 3 centre-backs, but no centre-backs on the bench. Classic Ollie, says Rob Davidson. And you expect us to finish 3rd or 4th, and we have the 4th best squad in the league. So is that really failure, says Jimmy Garner. We haven't got the 4th best squad in the league, Jimmy. Get yourself down to Specsavers. We've definitely got a better squad than Liverpool. Even bloody Jamie Carragher admitted that. I don't care who plays or who the coach is. I am so pissed off with the owners, says Victor. We are, after many years of this Glazers regime, still just living on a prayer. I want to believe, but it's very hard to believe. In fairy tales, we're a joke of a club, says Xander. All thanks to the Glazers, some of our fans have even started hating Sir Alex Ferguson, and the fans still feeding their pockets. Shambolic, says Subbo. Yeah, I don't like the criticism of Sir Alex, to be honest with you. And thoughts on Bay finally having a chance? Well, look, Ryan, we've got a game tonight. And to be honest with you, Eric Bay playing is quite an interesting thing, isn't it? Doesn't normally start for Manchester United, and Paul Pogba starting as well. And look, I think Paul Pogba had to start. I said it last night. Paul Pogba's got to start this game tonight. And the reason Paul Pogba's got to start this game tonight is because he can't play on Saturday. So it would be ridiculous not to bring in a player of Paul Pogba's quality for a game like this when he can play and allow, it will be Fred and McTominay against Man City, 100%. So, the only thing I would say is I'm a little disappointed Matic isn't playing, because I think when Matic has come off the bench in the last, few games, he's actually played really well. So I'm a little bit disappointed that he's not playing, but it makes total sense to pick Paul Pogba for this game, considering he can't play at the weekend. And, he's also one of our best players, let's be honest. So I'm very happy that Paul Pogba's playing, and I think it would have stunned me if Ollie hadn't played him. So there we go. Thanks everyone for watching, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. NMCC says, hi Mark, I agreed with you at first when you said the United way needs to change and evolve, but the more I've thought about it, don't you think that we're just compromising because of the board? A competent board could achieve things the United way, says NMCC. Yeah, unfortunately, the board don't know about the United way, so they can't demand it. Was Pogba just used to demonstrate consistency? I guess consistent inconsistency is still consistency, says Randall. Mark, you just keep up the good work. You talk a lot of sense 90% of the time. We agree. Great content, says Andy and Bruno. Hi, Mark. I think we have to play 5-3-2 because of Rashford and Greenwood. They're selfish players who don't do any dirty work and they don't create, says Karimu. That could be the case, but what about Sancho, who's, defensive stats are up in the top 10 wingers in the Premier League, and he still doesn't get a chance? Ollie believes he's capable of being a good manager and winning titles. He's deluded and tactically inept. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect, says Sam Davies. And anyone want to go for a pizza? Got a free evening today. I'll be near the town pizza shop in Bergamo Town, says Donny van der Beek. And welcome to the Members Club. George Russell, thank you very much for joining the Members Club. Thanks for all the super chats that are flying in as well. So I'm just going to go through the bench. I don't know that Fred's even on the bench. He is. So Henderson, Tellez, Delo, Fred, Lingard. It's on the screen at the moment. Mata, Matic, Van der Beek, Cavani, Greenwood, Martial, Sancho. So Martial is on the bench. Mata's on the bench. You can obviously name a lot of subs in the Champions League because basically everybody's on the bench there today. So very, very strong bench when you've got people like Cavani, Sancho, Martial, Greenwood, Van der Beek, Matic, Lingard, Fred, Tellez. Very, very strong bench for Manchester United. So people who don't think we've got one of the best squads in the world, it's ridiculous. But it looks like the top four, the back five is here to stay. Sancho, Greenwood, and others not going to be playing much because they just don't fit into that system. Okay. Tahith Chong's had a 3-month injury, apparently, just there, if anyone's interested in that. Atalanta. Let's have a look at the Atalanta team, because I know they've had a lot of injuries, and I'm interested to see. Also on screen. Let me have a look. No, it's not on my screen because I'm a bit behind, but I will read it out anyway. Atalanta. Da, 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 da. Oh, no, they've not put it out. So I'm trying to find the Atalanta lineup here. Okay, so it's on the screen there as our Twitter. At United Stand MUFC, give us a follow. It's right below me there. So Musa, Darun, Demaral, Palomino, Zabacosta, Froila, Koopmeiners, Mehel, Ilicic, Pasalic, and Zabata. Muriel is on the bench, which means no Guzans that we know, no Pessina that we know, no Demistri that we know, no Toloi that we know as well, and no Halibert. So they are missing 5 first teamers, which is quite a lot. In my opinion, I think we'll finish in the 6th. We have the squad to win the league, yet we are 5th, and still we are higher than we should be, all thanks to De Gea, says Bradley. Mark, how are you, by the way? How was your day? Very good, YUFC. We've been doing some work on the channel, which is what you're seeing the fruits of our labour today. We can now put tweets below us. We can now put your chats below us. So we're always looking for ways to integrate you into our content, which is fantastic. So make sure you smash a like. I'm sure there'll be other people copying what we do, which is absolutely fine, but we like to be the forerunners of bringing in player ratings and getting you more and more involved, because it's a fan channel, and that's what a fan channel should always be about, which is why I spend so much time reading chats and interacting with you. It's tiring, but it's the way it should be. How was Aaron Wan-Bissaka improved last season, and do you think Maguire would have been dropped if he wasn't our captain, says Subbo? No, I think Harry Maguire is like Scott McTominay. This is a player that defines Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whether you like that or not. I said this about a year ago when Maguire was performing badly a year ago. I was like, give Bruno the captaincy and drop Maguire. He needs it. But I did say Ole won't do it. If you think about it, if you're a manager and you spend £80 million on a player and you make them captain, they're pretty important to you, aren't they? So Ole's never going to drop Maguire. And he might end up falling on his sword with Maguire, but he'll stand by Maguire until the very end. So Maguire will always get picked. George Russell, thanks for becoming a member. BBC Sport have it as a 5-3-2, so it's a defensive lineup, and he's going to stick with it. You think that Ole cares that players' careers are being ruined? No, Salah, he doesn't. He cares about keeping his job. Ole cares about proving people wrong. Do you think Sancho could play the right wing-back role, or is that shoehorning him in? Billa, I think if we had Thomas Tuchel as manager, or maybe Antonio Conte as manager, I think you could play Jadon Sancho as a right wing-back. With Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't think he's played the back 5 anywhere near enough to play with wingers as our wing-backs. When I think about all the times we've played this system, we've always played with fullbacks in the wing-back positions. So, look, this is not his plan. Whether you like it or not, this is not his plan. He hasn't played it one game this season. The last time he played it was Leipzig, which was last year. This is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan. He's using it because he's desperate. And there's nothing wrong with him being desperate. Of course he's bloody desperate. Loads of people think he should be sacked. The evolution of the back 5 might happen in the future, but right here, right now, it's about defence, isn't it? Thank you, Mark, United Stand team, for your constant hard work to provide us United fans a place that feels home. Says Addy. Thank you very much to you as well for being part of the community. Lawrence says, I just don't get why we bought Sancho and not use him at all when we could have bought Declan Rice, says Lawrence. Look, I don't know. I can't talk to you about Sancho because ultimately, at the end of the day, and I'll use another cliche in a minute, is that it wasn't like he was using him when we were playing with wingers. So I think the back five makes it harder for Sancho to play, but it was bloody hard for him anyway. I don't know what the problem was. You get these nonsense stories from people who think because they follow a bloody player that they're getting inside information that, you know, Donny doesn't train well, Martial doesn't train well, Sancho doesn't train well. It's a nonsense. I know people who train them and they don't say that. So it's just a preference, isn't it? Some people like coffee, some people like tea. Ollie's better than career mode Goldbridge. Yeah, but Ollie, Sunshine, Gary Neville. Thanks, Sunshine, Gary Neville. And my career mode's going all right, considering FIFA 22 is a shit to play this year. So I'm doing all right. Tom, I feel Ollie wants Man United to succeed. Even if there was zero threat of losing his job, he would have changed tactics anyway, but I don't think you agree. And yes, I'm a L supporter, but follow you in Manchester United, says Tom OAT. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants the best for Manchester United because he loves Manchester United. I don't think anybody, well, I certainly don't disagree with that. And I've never been disrespectful. You know what? I've openly said Ollie out, right? The abuse I've had, the lies, the filth I've had said about me. And I'm like, I'm a football fan who thinks we should change the manager. I've not been abusive about Ollie. I've not mentioned his ears or his face or his height or his... Nothing like that. I just don't think he should be manager of Manchester United. I respect Ollie. He's a club legend. I just don't think he should be managing Manchester United. It's an opinion. Like, I just don't know why people get so venomous about it. You just said I'm ridiculous thinking we don't have one of the best squads in the world, but you also say JWP and Romu are better than our midfield, says Jimmy Garner. Again, another example of a person that's got so angry that they've not thought about it before they've replied. I've honestly lost hope for a new coach to come in this season. It's starting. Just to go back to that, Jimmy. Sorry, I've just completely had a brain blank there. Just because McFred aren't as good as Ward-Prowse and Romu doesn't mean we've not got one of the best squads in the league. I mean, balanced squad. I think you're talking about that, but squad. Bloody hell, we've got an amazing squad. We're weak in the midfield. I agree. Balanced squad, maybe not. You know, I think Liverpool have got a better balanced squad than us, but we've got a better squad of players. I've honestly lost hope for a new coach to come in this season. It's starting to feel like we will wait. Yeah, 100% that boy. I don't think they'll change it. Even if we lost against Atalanta and Man City, the thing is, the reason I know that is who would we bring in anyway? The club as well know they can ride out anything. When you can ride out 1 point from 12 and 5-0 against Liverpool, you can ride out anything. And they know that. So they'll just try and ride it out. Kurt says, hi, Mark. If the back five is the way forward, could we bring in Sancho and Telles into the system to get crosses into the box against the low blocks? Says Kurt. Maybe. What Ollie provides the board must be worth more than the 77 million they paid out for Sancho, says Patrick. Do you remember Brookside, says Red Baron? I know what it was. I didn't used to watch it. United can't play. I think the only ones I ever watched was the one that was a cutting edge at the time with the two lesbians. And it wasn't for that reason. I'm just saying it was quite interesting TV at the time because it had never been done before. So it was actually good TV around then. And they never showed anything what they were up to. It was just quite controversial at the time, which is a sign of the times because that was after 1989 and still people talk about 1989. And I'm talking about Brookside, which 10 years later, you know, nearly broke TV because they had a couple having a lesbian affair. And now look at the world, you know, the world has moved on. So, you know, it's, you know, the world's a better place is what I'm trying to say. United can't plan for tomorrow with yesterday's tools. Need to park the Ferguson era and let a new manager come in. So Stephen. Abdullah, thank you very much for subscribing for the super chat. And imagine what me and Wood could do with the squad Ollie is wasting. Bring me in, please, says Sean Dyche. That's one manager I wouldn't want at Manchester United. We have got standards. Another chat there. It's not Juventus, AC Milan or Inter Milan. It's Atalanta only. What makes you worried? I'm not worried tonight. No, thanks for becoming a member, Kia. I mean, what? Levin's ready, is he? Good. Let's get Levin on. No, I'm not worried tonight. I think we'll win tonight. I don't think I've got no concerns about tonight. And Jay says, hi, Mark. Can you shout out my brother, Andrew? Fred is his favourite player and he's sad he isn't starting. Unlucky, Andrew, but he'll be back on Saturday. And been a Man United supporter for 20 years now, but barely celebrating anything for months now. Whatever is happening is sucking the soul out of my club. I mean, well, tonight, we've got Levin here as well. Tonight, I don't feel like Spurs. I found Spurs weird. Tonight, if we score, it's going to be proper Goldbridge. I do have that feeling where I support the club, even if I don't believe in the owners and the manager. So, Levin, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. Thank you. It's good to be back, right? I get a lot of people messaging me like, what's happened? Why are you not on the United stand anymore? What's happened? I was gone for like 4 days, guys. Like, it's fine.
Been working. He's been doing his other job.
Yeah, I've been working, you know what I mean? But now I'm back. Hopefully.
Levin Bond. He's a secret agent.
It didn't. I'm sure people might know if they follow me on Twitter and whatnot. But I'm excited because it's good to be back. Good to be talking about United again. Do you know what I mean? I've just been talking about video games for the past couple of days. So it's good to be back. You know what, Mark? I joined, right? And like, you know, it felt a bit tense in there. I was thinking, you know, Mark, you're right. Like, you want to talk about it? Is there anything you want to let off your chest before the game and like let it go? Like, I want you to feel free. I want you to feel comfortable right now. So just let it all out. Go on, I'm here.
Mate, I've been letting it all out for a long time. I mean, obviously you haven't been on for a few days, so we've not spoken since the Spurs game. But look, I honestly would have been faking it if I'd have gone, oh, Ronaldo, yeah, Rashford. I was honest. And I went, you know what? After that week, that's been one of the hardest weeks as a United fan ever. I just feel a bit flat. I was very happy to win. I wanted to win and the goals were good, but it wasn't the same as what it had been 2 weeks ago when we were scoring. But I feel like I've got that back tonight. I mean, I think I just needed to, you know, sometimes it's a bit like grieving, isn't it? It just takes a bit of time. So I'm in the mindset now. I never wanted United to lose against Spurs, which is funny actually, because people were saying, I want us to lose so we get Conte, and then Spurs lose and they get Conte, which, you know, maybe they were right, but I don't think United would have done that. But I support the club. I don't support the owners, and I don't believe in the coach. That's where I am. And I'm at peace with that, even though it's probably a contradiction. It's a coping mechanism. I can't turn my back on the club, but I can't believe in the coach or the owners. So that's just where I am. And at the moment, I'm quite content with that. What about yourself?
I think that's a place a lot of people in. I feel like I've, you know, been in a very similar space where it's almost like I know my stance on Oli for months now. I said what I wanted for things to change my stance. Those things haven't happened. But every week I'm sort of looking for anything to latch onto to sort of go, okay, well, now we're not getting a new manager. The board are behind them. Is this bearable? Like, is this something that I can live through for the next couple of months, even though in an ideal world I would choose not to live through it? And
7
not
months,
really.
probably.
Yeah, that's the bit that's hard, isn't it? You know what? Yeah, like there's a lot of conversation being had, obviously, I think, because of the whole Contes stuff, right? And obviously we're using a 3 at the back or 5 at the back again. It's weird because I know there was a joke, like there was a whole joke about, you know, he's copied Conte or whatever, right? And, you know, it was a joke, but I think there's a lot of people who are taking it very seriously and going, well, this is like not Oli, right? And a lot of people are going, well, him switching stuff over at the back is not Oli at all, right? It goes against everything about him. I actually think...
This is me.
But Mark, I actually think this is the most Oli thing he's ever done. I think it's the most... I think it's actually everything about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is encapsulated in the decision to switch to a 5 at the back against Spurs, because you look at his in-game management and his approach to in-game management, something that sometimes works, but sometimes it's incredibly flawed. If we're down a goal in a game, what does he do? If we need a goal, he just subs on a striker, not considering necessarily the system or how it actually works, or can you actually get the ball to the striker and score? It's like, no, I'll just sub on Cavani if we need a goal. You know what? Need a bit more control in the midfield. Yeah, just sub on Matic, right? Not necessarily considering all the other aspects about the team and the system. And that's exactly what the whole Spurs thing was to me. That's how it felt to me. We're leaking goals.
Do you not think, though? I mean, look, where I am is that what I've said is that we haven't played a back 5 all season. The last time we played it, I think, was November last year. He stubbornly played a ridiculous system against Liverpool that was a 4-2-4. He should then get the sack. And then now we're playing a back 5. I just feel cheated because he has taken something that Tuchel and Conte does to save his job. And he's basically ripped up everything he told us. And now he's doing something new. And I'm just confused because I'm like, well, Sancho can't play in this system. Greenwood's hardly going to play in this system. We don't have enough centre-back. I know why he's done it, Levin. He's done it to try and win games, ultimately, because winning games keeps him in a job, and he obviously wants to be in a job and do well for United. I feel like he was our manager, and then he got sacked, and now he didn't get sacked, but don't ever do what you were doing before, so he's got to do something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but where I disagree with you and where I feel you're wrong is when you categorize it as like something Tuchel Conte does, it's not that. Like the way they use the five at the back shape is very different to how it was implemented against Spurs.
What do you think about that? What do you think we were more defensive than a Tuchel or a Chelsea then, or a Conte? Because a lot of people felt we were quite boring apart from the goals.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily something you associate with Conte or Tuchel teams, right? Where you look at it and it simply was to me, like I literally just said before, it simply was to me, we're leaking goals, we've been bad defensively, just add another defender in there, and let's, you know what I mean? Like, and fair enough, you've had 4 or 5 days to work on a new shape. It's never going to be pristine, right? Like, it's never going to be perfect, but it's not. To me, it's nothing to do with other managers. It's simply just an approach that we've seen Ollie use before, and this is why I'm trying to tell people, like, don't even look at it as a thing of maybe he's trying to copy this. And even if he was, managers are always inspired by each other anyway, right? Managers will talk and they discuss tactics and everything. So even that, there's nothing really inherently wrong in that. But, we've seen it before where he just adds on to the team what he thinks we need to do. We need a goal, just throw in a striker into the game. We need to be more defensively solid. Yeah, just throw in another centre-back. Like, there's nothing sort of... There were no different tactical elements to the way we played philosophically that, one, are similar to Conte or Tuchel, or two, are dissimilar to how we've been playing anyway. Like, yeah, we were more compact, like we were better in terms of the shape was a bit more compact. It wasn't the 4-2-4 rubbish we were seeing before. But outside of that, what was significantly different about how we played compared to other games? Even though we've won this game and, that other games we've lost, nothing really is, I guess.
I think it's a bit, I said, I got clipped, and it's upset a lot of people, because I said he basically stole what Conte and Tuchel did to stay in a job. Now, obviously, we know how we talk on this channel, and, why take 5 minutes to say something you can do controversially in a sentence? But what I'm about to say now will cause tremors again, because if we're playing FIFA Ultimate Team, and I play you, and I'm playing a 4-2-3-1, and you're playing a 5-3-2, I'm going to go, oh, that is working. If I've only got a week between Liverpool and Spurs, and I'm going, I need an extra defender in, but we've not really played this for a while. Of course, you're going to have a look at what other teams do, because you might take a bit of that, you might take a bit of that. It's like what Pep did. The reason Brighton are playing like they are is because Pep came into the Premier League and showed this. I ain't got a problem with managers looking at the way other teams play. It happens all the time. And we know Ollie's a reactive manager. I mean, Ollie will think about how Watford are playing. Klopp won't. So, of course, a manager will look at the way other people are playing, especially if you're a reactive manager. I mean, Ollie's a counter-attacking coach. I think Ollie probably takes ideas off a lot of people. But
where it's different, though, is that in the context you're talking about the actual sort of way teams play and what they prioritize, what's important to them in terms of their strategy and philosophy. In terms of actual shape, like, I think people very much pay too much attention, to actual formation. Like, the formation the team lines up in is never really that important, because teams will be in different formations in different phases of the game, right? We set up last season, all season long, 4-2-3-1 basically. But in defense, we defend in a 4-4-2. Right, but in attack, we attacked in like a 3-1-6. So it doesn't actually, like, people pay too much attention to the formation sometimes. And yeah, cool, you can make that point, right? Like, managers do look at the way people play, and it will influence people the way they play. But there was nothing about that performance against Spurs that said to me, "Oh, he's watched that manager, and we're playing like that team now." There was nothing like that, which is why I can't even entertain the idea, because then let's say that was the truth. It would expose him for being, like, not even an idiot at that point, like just someone who doesn't know anything about football, which I don't think is true, as much as that might be unpopular to say, right? Because that's just someone going, well, you know what? Tuchel's been good with a 3 at the back, Hey, McKenna, 3 at the back, sort it out this week. And I don't, what I mean? Like, I don't think that's what it was. again, I just think it was Ollie going, defensively, we've been bad. 5 at the back. Let's get more defenders in there. Make it harder for teams to score. That's all I think it really was.
What do you think about the team tonight? Because he's gone with a 5 or 3, whatever. He's gone. You know, we know how Atalanta are going to play. I personally thought he should have played a back 4 because I think we're very good against Leeds, and I think Atalanta are very much like Leeds, and I think we were good enough to play a back 4. But he's obviously gone, you know what? It worked against Spurs. We didn't concede a goal. If we don't concede a goal, we get a point. We probably get through the group. Let's do it again. And of course, we're going to play it against Man City anyway. So let's breed some familiarity in the team.
How do I say this? I don't know what to expect because on one hand, we've had an extra week to work on it even more. And so maybe it's not just a change in shape now. We've actually improved the way you play. Highly doubt that. On the other hand, I like some of the players he's put in the team now, right? Rashford is going to be really important, I think, in this kind of a game where we saw in the small time he was on the pitch against Spurs. You know, he makes these runs that are so effective at just catching teams out and behind. And in transition against a team like Atalanta, that's really dangerous, right? Where you have Bruno being able to play those kind of balls in diagonally into Rashford. Pogba's now in the team. You'd expect Pogba to do that. I almost wish Lindelof was here because we know Lindelof would do it. The Bailly thing is an interesting thing to me, Mark, because I was sort of talking to people about how it doesn't make any sense. He obviously doesn't trust Bailly. And I thought he was just going to go with Luke Shaw at left centre-back and tell us. Yeah, but him actually playing Bailly will be interesting. You know, I like Bailly. There's something about Bailly, right? Don't you just enjoy watching him play? I don't know. I just watch him to see what he does. Yeah, so I'm interested in seeing how that develops. Will Wan-Bissaka be an actual good right wing back again? Like, he actually was good against Spurs, the right wing back in a role that I didn't think he'd ever really even be that decent in. Can he do that again? I'd bet over if we're going to stick to 5 at the back all season long, I'd bet it'd average out and probably not. But if you can have another good game there again, that would be solid. All in all, I don't know. I'm optimistic about our chances because Atalanta, I should say, sorry. You know, they're a team we've obviously shown we can beat. They're a team that are stubborn in the way they play. Like, they're going to stick to the way they play, and they are vulnerable with the man marking system and everything. They're vulnerable to leaving space in behind for us to exploit. And that's what we're going to ultimately look to do, try and catch them in transition. So we have a chance. We, of course, have a chance. In terms of longevity, I know we always talk about longevity. Like, can we continue to do this now? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, because I think good teams, like especially Man City will know how to deal with our rendition of this 5-back system. They will know how to deal with it. I've watched, growing up, I've watched Pep's, Barcelona play against 5-backs in, La Liga and absolutely just embarrass them, right? So he will know how to do, and he will know how to deal with us, because when you watch against Spurs, some of our principles weren't really there defensively. Like, if Spurs were better, because you have to remember, Spurs are like one of the worst attacking teams in the league this season. So we didn't even really test fully whether the 5-back is really defensively solid or not. I don't even know if we can chance it against City, because they will expose us, right?
Well, we've got Chelsea and Man City coming up in our next 3 Premier League games, and I'm pretty sure he will play this same system. And that was going to be my question to you and everybody as well. Do you think we're going to stick with it? Because I think he will, because I think Ollie's a reactive coach, and the system he had before, he'd be terrified. He'd be terrified to go back to a back 4 because teams were just carving us open. So I think he will stick with it. But as you know, Levin, there's no one system that's flawless, because if there was, everybody would use it. And I think, I think he'll stick with it, but I think long term, I don't know about you, I just think it's going to be a problem, because the longer you stick with this, and you can bring it into players that are going to miss out, you can only pick 2 forwards. It's all right rotating Cavani, Rashford and Ronaldo, but what happens to Sancho, Greenwood and Martial? Now, Martial's probably going to get sold anyway, but Greenwood's a generational talent. Sancho's 74 million. If you stick with a 5-3-2, they might get a few minutes here and there, but they're never going to get a breakthrough, because Ronaldo's always going to start, and it's always going to be Rashford and Cavani.
Do you know how it hurts when you say that, though? Because you know how you just said there, right? It's like, well, you can't go back to the 4-2-3-1 or whatever we were playing. It hurts me that we can't. Like, why can't we? Just tell the wingers to track back. Teach the wingers how to play in a defensive shape that isn't like... That's not hard. Like, that is actually not hard. So it's one of these things where you, once again, it's something I feel like a broken record here, because I say this on the channel so many times. Is it that nobody's telling those players to do it, or that they're being told to do it and they are ignoring it? Because either one, for one, is bad and is just embarrassing on the manager. But one of those actually then makes you look at some of those players and go, actually, question how good you really are. Like if Greenwood and Rashford, right, are being told to track back, make sure you are in line with McTominay and Fred when it's them two playing in the pivot, so that we have, you know, tight lines, no space between the lines, make sure we're very compact, and they're not doing it, don't you sub them off, don't take them off, you play somebody else. Like that's what any top coach would do. Watch Conte now at Spurs, right? You know, he's gonna have to experiment, try different lineups because he doesn't have preseason, right? I'm sure we will see games with Spurs now with Conte where he's on the touchline screaming at players. They're not going to do what he wants to do, so he'll just take them off, and then the next game they won't play. That's how it will be. But there seems to be this thing at this club right now that Ollie's created where, unless it's just a system change like this, where because it's a 5-3-2, he actually just can't play wingers because there's no wingers. It's like he's created this environment where he almost like can't drop anybody. Like, you know, certain players aren't being almost punished in a way for not doing the things that they should do. And then again, I feel bad for saying that because I don't even know if they're being told to do it. Like, I'm saying this about these players, but I don't even know if they're being told to do it. So we should be able to play how we played last season. You just improve what you're bad at. You don't need to just completely get rid of that shape and that system because the players aren't doing that. Tell them to do it. Then like that. I don't know, man. I was calm before I came here, and now I'm, you know what I mean. I was calm, and I was laughing, I was smiling. Now I'm a bit like, oh, this is one of these things that really gets me going because I don't understand it. I just don't get it.
Well, you know, it's short-termism. It is short-termism, and it could turn into long-termism. But I think if it turns into long-termism, it becomes a problem because what we've seen under Ollie, and we will see it again, and we saw it last year when we lost to Istanbul. He basically picked the same 13, 14 players for the rest of the season and burnt them out because he trusts them. And he didn't pick Tellez or Van der Beek or Bay much. Now he's going to do it again. Like, you look at the game tonight, that means McTominay will play Spurs, Atalanta and City. He'll play 3 games in 6 days. Now, if you're a Pep or you're a Klopp, doesn't matter how much you rate McTominay, you're going to go, I've got to get a Milner in. I've got to give him some time off. But Ollie won't do that. He will use McTominay. And yet Matic could easily come in and do a job with Pogba today and give McTominay 60 minutes out of a game. So that's one thing that bothers me, is that we are going to get into the road of favouritism, which neglects the wider squad, as we know. My other issue is the same issue I had with Southgate in the summer. I already knew, and we went through this, Levin, at the start of the season. You know, there's 3 forward positions and we've got about 9 people that can play in them. Now we've got 2 forward positions and we've got 9 playing in them. So my issue is we don't have enough defenders to play back 5 every week. You know, we've got 3 centre-backs. If one of them gets injured, you can play in Phil Jones or you're going to put Luke Shaw in there as the next backup. And we've got loads of attackers that can't play. I think we've suddenly become a very defensive side. And, you know, we've got so many good attackers, and I think that's going to be the shame. So I don't think it's going to be sustainable because I think it will cause more problems. But in the short term, it's good.
Remember, Mark, we don't want sulkers, right? You know, we don't want sulkers. We want everybody to come in and make sure they're working hard and ready to come on when needed. So we don't want sulkers in it. Like, what
a weird comment that was. You know, if you're not in the team, you should be getting behind the lads. You're the most favourite manager in the world. You don't give people a chance, but you want them to be a cheerleader. I mean, it's like. But I mean, look, I think. What are your thoughts on United and the rest of the season now? I mean, we went into the season and apparently we were going to be trying to fight for a title in April. Do you think that's still sustainable, or are we just playing game to game now and they don't even know what the season's all about? It's just about trying to get back on floating instead of sinking, I suppose.
I don't see a pathway right now to where we are a good enough team to knock one of the top 3 out of that race. So we're in a battle for 4th place and there's now a lot of competition for 4th place. You know, West Ham look good. Spurs now have Conte. And I know people have their thoughts on Conte, but whether you like Conte or not, his track record has shown he will make Spurs a competitive team. Whether you want to accept that or not, I know it's hard to believe, but he will make Spurs a competitive team. I
didn't want them to get him in the summer. I certainly don't want them to have him now.
Well, yeah, like I made a tweet about it yesterday, Mark, where I said, look, even if you don't want Conte as Manchester United manager, and I can understand why people will say he's not the right fit, etc. I understand all those arguments, but Conte is one of their managers. You don't want him in the Premier League because he just makes whatever team he's at way better, and that's just more competition for your team. Like, you get it? Like, it's the same reason why, you know, in theory, if somebody said to us right now, would you take Pep? You go, yes, not just because of how good Pep is as a manager, but us having Pep just means that Man City don't have him, right? So that makes them weaker. But, you know, now in a situation where he's gone to Spurs, so that makes them stronger. We now have arguably the 4 best managers in the world in the Premier League. And we don't have one.
Yeah.
We don't have a top 10 manager in the Premier League pretty much. So yeah, you know, our time now, our pathway to 4th, it hurts to say that, man. It really hurts to say that. But our pathway to 4th this season, Ronaldo will score us goals. We will get out of games, and we just have to hope that, you know, we can, I don't know, like, just keep getting results. That's all I can hope for. We just keep getting results, because I don't see us fighting for honours right now. Unless something drastic changes in the next month or two, I do not see us fighting for any honours. We've messed ourselves up in the Carabao Cup. That was an opportunity for some of these fringe players to maybe show that they can play, but now they don't have that. Champions League, based off how tonight goes, could be in the mud. I really hope we win tonight, and I think we should be fine to get through this group. FA Cup, I'm not even going to think about that right now, but yeah, I don't really see a solid pathway for us in the league right now. There's so many other strong teams who have shown already this season that they are going to compete.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I mean, I'd have thought there, I mean, about Conte, we'll talk about Conte. I didn't want Conte at United. I didn't. And then what happened with Liverpool happened, and I was like, you know what? I would just take somebody that can get us short-term stability and, you know, make us a challenge. And that was before Ollie started playing a back 5. I mean, look, he's gone to Spurs. That's where he's gone. But I don't understand how people are coming out as United fans saying they didn't want Conte, and yet we're playing. And you're absolutely right. We're not even playing a back 5 like Conte would play it.
Yeah.
But we have abandoned what United's all about, and what Ollie's told us is all about. It's about wide forwards and everything like that. So I think there's an element of sour grapes there, or a misconception about what Conte is. He's a winner. I think he's won the title 5 times in his last 7 seasons. And, you know, if we're going to play a back 5, I don't think you can say you wouldn't want Conte.
Yeah, and I think there's so many misconceptions about Conte as a manager. And I know, once again, he's gone off to Spurs already, so there's no point in even like discussing some of these things. But this is a guy that took a Juventus team that hadn't won the Serie A for like 8 years, won it 3 times in a row with them. He took a Chelsea team that had their worst season ever in 20 years and won the Premier League in his first season. He took an Inter Milan team that hadn't won the Scudetto as well for about 10 or something years in the middle of a financial crisis and won it with them. Like, whether you like him or not, this is a guy that wins and he makes teams competitive. And now we have to be on the receiving end of that instead. And, you know, I don't buy into this stuff a lot, but I've seen people talking about the whole, like, now he has a chip on his shoulder, right? You know, now as soon as he comes to play us next time round, you know, he's going to really want to win that game. You know what I mean? Because this is allegedly a job that he wanted, and we held out for Ollie. So we're going to have to bite that bullet. Like, it's going to be tough to deal with. This is a guy that's an elite manager, whether you want to believe it or not.
How do you think this game's going to go? Because we spoke, as per usual with United at the moment, we just wander into these areas where it's always about the same old thing with Ollie. But what is your thoughts on this game tonight? I mean, the more we've been talking, and the more I think about what Atalanta are, I think the Premier League's stronger than Serie A, and they play very open. And we have got Ronaldo, Rashford, Bruno, Pogba. So I think we will be able to pick them off. And we've got a back 5, which I think will make it harder for them. So I said 2-2, but I actually think we'll win it. What about yourself?
Atalanta are a really good team. Obviously, like, their one weakness is, you know, they can be vulnerable, and we have the ability to hit them in transition. Is Demiral playing? Is he back for this game, by the way?
Yeah, he is. I mean, they've still got 5 out, but he is playing, yeah.
Yeah, no. Look, I think it's going to be really important. Rashford is going to be key to us. Bruno and Rashford, I think, are really important for us this game. Of course, you know, Ronaldo is Ronaldo, but I think Rashford's ability to find space in behind against an Atlanta team that will, you know, sort of push up high and look to attack us is going to be really important. And I hope he gets the ball, because we've seen where, he will make runs, he doesn't get fed, and he almost gets frustrated. And fortunately, in the goal against the Spurs, Matic eventually gave him the ball after he made 2 or 3 runs. But I like to think that Pogba and Bruno will be able to find him. It's going to be really important our wing backs have a good game. Joachim Mæhle, I don't know how he's done so far in the Serie A, but he's someone who in the Euros for Denmark was one of the best players in the flipping tournament. And we know what he can do. So I think he's playing off the left. So him versus Wan-Bissaka will be a battle to watch out for. We can definitely win this game. Atalanta, I don't think they're particularly a team that we should be afraid of, but they do pose a threat. And we saw that in the first game where they scored 2 goals so quickly, and it was just madness. But I do expect we'll be much better than that game. We're going to be more compact. Our shape was all over the place that game. I think we will be better. We have more of a threat than their threat. So we should win this game. I think 2-1. 2-1 is what I'm going with.
Yeah, Tampa in the chat just said there, we've got superior quality, so we should be winning. And I think that's always the underlying thing, isn't it? We should be winning. Look at the players we've got. I mean, look at the bench we've got. They've got 5 players out. And even today, Emery's meant to be going to Newcastle. So by the time we play Villarreal, they won't have Emery. So look, there's no excuses. I said this group was a group we should top. I expect us to top it. And I think that's one thing, Levin, we've got to be careful of, is that in people's desperation to back Ollie, they are falling victim of the standards that have been lowered by this club. We started the season looking at being in a title race in April and, cruising through the group. We're now not in a title race and we're like, ooh, it's a difficult group. And already you can see in 2 months, the expectations have dropped. I'm not saying people need to get expectations back up, but a realization of where we are against the squad is that we are massively underachieving. And if Ollie's going to stay in post, he's got to be judged on the expectations you would expect with that squad. And I look at that game tonight and say, look, Atalanta are underdogs, even if we're away.
Yeah, and we had a conversation last week where we talked about, what the questions around Ollie's job haven't just come out of nowhere, right? People aren't just magicking up some sort of bad run of form. We've been pretty poor over the past couple of weeks. Of course, we had that game against Spurs, but you've got to build off that now. That I don't think anybody's mind should be changed based on that Spurs result, right? I went back and I watched it again. There's no reason to change your mind necessarily about our chances this season and what position we're in as a team, right? We beat a team that was 1 loss away from sacking their manager. That's everything you need to know, right? But this game is a test, of course, like you said, with Emery potentially leaving Villarreal, whatever, that could be a big thing for us. Something I actually haven't talked about, right, is I made a big deal of talking to people about Pogba and how you can get the best out of Pogba in a team. And a system where Pogba is the 4th most attacking player per se is where I think he's strongest, where he does really well for France. He's done well in that sort of role for Juventus as well in the past. And today you'd say he's the 4th most attacking player. He probably has the 4th, in terms of license to roam forward and get involved in the attack. He's obviously a big threat there. So if we see a Pogba masterclass today, you know why, right? It's because for once he has defensive solidity behind him and the freedom to play make from all around the pitch. So hopefully we see a good Pogba game.
I've had a message from Ricky, who's on holiday but just can't keep away. He said, on Sunday, I said, if you're aiming to play 3 centre-backs, you need more centre-backs to cover, which he didn't because he wasn't intending to play like this. It's already happened. Lindelof's injured, so in comes Bailly. The thing is, with 3 centre-backs on the park, there's 50% more chance of one getting injured or a red card. Yet we've named 12 subs and there's not a single centre-back amongst them. I mean, he's not wrong there, is he, Levin? But it's only what we've been talking about. This formation is you can describe it in many ways. It's desperation. It's a last gasp to try and salvage something. But the squad is in balance. We've got loads of attackers. We don't have loads of defenders, but now we need loads of defenders to play this system. It could end up with McTominay or Luke Shaw having to play as a centre-back at some point between now and however long this goes, because, we will pick up injuries. We will have to rotate. And it's demanding on 3 centre-backs, this system. And
it just fits the theme of what's happened this season, where whatever plan they may have had at the end of last season after we lost in the Europa League, things have changed and they've not prepared for that change. And that's just what we've seen. So it's true. Ricky's saying that's true, but it's almost one of those things where it's like, I've heard it all. You know what I mean? Like, we know this now that this hasn't been planned. And we're leaving ourselves vulnerable now, because you're right. What happens now if we lose a centre back? Yeah, cool. Maybe you put Luke Shaw's the left centre back, and then you sub on Tellers. But you know, then we have a game against Man City. What are you gonna? It's getting techie right now. It's getting very technical. But Ollie at the wheel.
I don't think we need to get technical, do we? I think everyone just needs to acknowledge that United right now are. I wouldn't say we're like a relegation side because that's just dramatic.
I think that's unfair. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the men. Look, Arsenal beat. Who did Arsenal beat at the weekend? Leicester. They're happy with that result, but they're dreaming of fourth. Burnley won at the weekend. They're happy with the result, and they're now thinking about getting out of the relegation zone. I think with United, we're happy with the Spurs result, but we don't know what we are. We don't know what we are this season. And that is what United are at the moment. We're just playing game to game, which a club like United shouldn't be. We should always have aspirations. And I'm sure Ollie deep down is thinking, if I can win the next 10, I'll get in a title race, which he would. But I don't think he's anywhere near settled in what he's doing or anything like that. He's just surviving game to game. And the hope is that we win tonight. We win against City. We beat Watford. We maybe beat Chelsea. And then you've won 5 on the bounce and the league looks a bit different. And then you start to get those things. But for right here, right now, it would be wrong, I suppose, if we weren't in this position, Levin, because it's just about trying to find some stability in a desperate situation, which we're still in. You know, like you say, Spurs sacked their manager after we beat them. That's how fragile their situation was.
All most fans want, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself here, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in the chat who agree with me. All a lot of us want is a feeling of direction, an understanding of where we are getting to. I've already said on the channel before, right? I'm a lot more patient than most people. I'm fine if we suck. Like if we are losing, I can live with that. If I have an understanding, if I can see, you know, the vision, if I can see that, you know what? Yeah, we might have lost that game, but we actually played really well. You know, I can see these players are getting better. We're trying to play like this. If this person improves in this way, you know what I mean? Like, but there's none of that. Right. And that's the issue. There doesn't seem to be an idea of where we're going to. Like you asked me the question of, you know, what do you see now for the season? Right. I don't know what this looks like in 6 months. Like I don't. And I think a lot of teams look at their squads and they look at the situations and they sort of have an understanding. Right. That's a big reason. I'm sure if you ask a lot of Spurs fans, that's a big reason why the Nuno thing was really bad, because look at Nuno at Spurs. You know, what was the direction that was going in, especially in terms of the ambition that Spurs fans have in terms of we want to play attacking football. I mean, there wasn't really a vision there. So we just want an idea of the direction we're heading in. And currently that doesn't exist. And that's why a lot of people like myself are disgruntled, because we just want to understand where we're going, right? I'm happy to hop on the Ollie bus if I knew where the bus was going to. I'm not hopping on the bus if I don't know where it's going to. Do you know what I mean? And at the moment, and I think for a while now, a lot of us don't know where it's going. I think some people like Jay will say, the moment the bus pulled up at the bus stop, I didn't know where it was going. So I never hopped on it, right? But a lot of us are in a situation where we're going, what is this team in a couple of months? And many of us don't know. What is the morale like? You know, if we stick with this 5-back thing, how does Ollie answer those questions? We talk about him needing to be asked more difficult questions by the press. I really hope at the end of this game, somebody does ask, okay, you know, let's say we win, right? Which I hope we do. I hope a journalist does ask, Ollie, this 5-at-the-back thing is clearly working in the past couple of games. If you're going to stick to it, what's the plan for some of the attacking wingers that you have? Like, how do you plan to bed them in? I'm sure we'll just get an answer like, oh, yeah, just no sulking, wait your turn.
Well, you know, Levin, lots of games, lots of different formations. We can play the 4-2-3-1, the 5-3-2, the 3-4-3. You know, that's what you'll get from Ollie. And I respect that, because I think at the moment he's just surviving. And I do agree with I don't know about you, just very quickly, because we're very close to kick off, but the Spurs thing I would normally be outraged by. You give a job to a manager for 3 months and then they're the manager and then they get sacked. But I absolutely agree with Spurs, because that was only going to get worse. He didn't fit Spurs. He was a defensive coach and they were going to be mid-table. And they've changed it around and they've done it quick.
I had a lot of people DMing me going, Spurs are run better than us. And that shouldn't be the case. Right?
Well, the board's better than us. We're a better club than them, but the board's better.
But the thing is as well is that when you actually look at the Spurs situation, it's been poor. Like Daniel Levy's been poor. The whole Saka Mourinho thing, it wasn't organised. He didn't have a backup plan. He tried to get a manager, couldn't get that manager, tried to get another. He went through a whole list of managers, then landed on Nuno. And that was poor. But at least then it was like, okay, cool, we can sack him off and we can reset the situation a bit. There isn't a reaction from our board, right? Like there isn't any sort of reaction. There's no sort of accountability from anybody above Ollie, right? Because at the end of the day, I like Ollie. Like I actually like him as a person, right? But
yeah, I love him.
It's almost like when we say with players, like a player, you can't stop yourself from getting picked, right? You got to go out there and do what you got to do as the manager. He's the manager. The board have given him the job. He's got to go out there and do what he has to do. Quite frankly, he's not good enough, but it's up to the people above him to realize that and move on that. They haven't done that, and they're not planning on doing that anytime soon. So, as fans, we're helpless.
Levin's gone for a win. I'm going for a win late on. What are you on tonight, Levin? Are you on the forum, are you?
I don't think so. No, I don't think I'm on the forum. I think I'm doing a match vlog or something. I'm doing a reaction of some sort.
Okay.
Possibly.
Goldbridge doesn't run the channel in that way, so I know as much as him. But no, it's been great to have you on, pal. I look forward to your match reaction then. And the great thing about Levin's match reaction is we've had the hour before where he's been telling us all this sort of stuff. So hopefully it'll be right.
We get to see the product of it now in an hour. And look, if I'm wrong, guys, about anything I've said today, I don't care. See you
You're
guys
just
later.
a fan. That's
Enjoy.
what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm not a pundit. I don't have to. You know what? Yeah, I actually have a job where when I make opinions, like I have to be right, or people look at me and go, "Oh, what are you doing?" But in this, I can just say whatever I want, and it doesn't really matter. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy from London. At the end of the day, do you know what I mean? So, hope you guys will enjoy the game. I will see you all after. Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure having you on, mate. Good
to be back. Good to be back.
I'll speak to you in a bit.
Bye, guys.
Cheers, pal. You can follow Levin on Twitter and anything, actually. It's Levin2K with an L. Leven 2K. Just quickly before we start, because we're literally about to start. Solskjaer, just before the game, he says, yes, Bay's been really keen to play. He's worked really hard and trained really well. Of course, he's played a few games with Ivory Coast as well, so he'll be ready. And he says, we're hoping to see the best of Marcus Rashford and Paul Pogba. I thought Rashford was very good versus Atalanta at Old Trafford. He caused problems with his dynamism and run-ins in behind. And I do think that will be key. I do think that will be key tonight. I think the ability of Rashford on the break is going to be huge. Please smash a like on the video and make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, United Stand is live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 a.m. We've got fan vlogs, we've got match reaction, we've got player ratings for you to vote in. We can get your comments on the screen now. Always looking to get you involved on the channel because that's what it's all about, your opinion. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. The game is about to kick off. I will tell you, they're taking the knee. And then we go for it. And I think we'll see a good performance from United tonight. Ronaldo's looking happy. I think he's happy to be back in Italy, actually. So let's see what happens. We're off. Bruno kicks it back. We hit a long ball straight away. This seems to be the new way for United. Pass it back to a centre-back and hit a diagonal. But we win possession high up the pitch anyway. It works. Ronaldo. I just think United are going to play well tonight. I said it about 5 o'clock tonight. I just feel that Ronaldo shoots from distance there. Good play by Ronaldo. Good start, bright. I just feel that we're going to go on a bit of a run. And it's not a surprise to me if we do, because we know Ollie can go on runs. He did it when he first came into the club. He's done it 3 or 4 times in his season. He's got this capability of, what was that journalist, Fredrik Fieldvet, the Norwegian journalist, said, Ollie is the best manager in the world when he's got a knife to his throat. And what that means is, when he's in grave danger, he'll go and find the results. And I think that will happen. I do. We're not beating City, but we've beaten City before, Marvin. But look, I think with the back five, we'll win tonight, and I think we'll beat Man City. Oh, well, that's a big statement. I'm not saying we'll beat Man City. I think we'll beat Atalanta tonight with the back five, and then I think against City it'll be a tough game. But I fancy us to get a result against City. But at some point we'll come unstuck. As much as Man City could beat us, I think Watford or Palace could beat us as well. I think the one thing about United is because we're quite a reactionary team in the way that we always look at what the opposition are doing and try to react and counterattack. The whole point of that is that if you play like that, then that team could express itself and beat you. I think the only team that we don't really counterattack and we just go and play expressively against is Leeds. But look, steady start. I just hope we see from United tonight. It's hard, but I hope we see from United tonight some attacking endeavour. That's always difficult when you're playing with 6 defenders, because I class McTominay as a defender as well. But, also keep in mind, this is not a game it's not like the league where we need to get 3 points. This is the Champions League, and a draw would be a good result. So, I think that's going to be interesting. It's quite a tight ground, Atalanta. I mean, so it's not a tight ground. It's not an intimidating ground. So I don't think it's one of those away stadiums that you'd be concerned about either. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe. What do I think about Bailly playing, says Reeve? Well, I think if Lindelof gets injured, you either play Bailly or Jones, or you end up putting somebody at centre-back who's not a centre-back, like a Luke Shaw or a Scott McTominay, don't you? Viva Ronaldo! He's not scored. Don't worry. I have to be careful when I sing that, because Seb or my daughter might run in excited. I'm just singing it. Hashtag deal with it. Running down the wing. Hear United sing. Viva Ronaldo! Of course, one thing I can't guarantee for you is that we're going to get entertaining football from a back five. I mean, as we've seen with England, it can be quite a difficult. What I found with England under Southgate is that you get them moments where they score, but it's a boring watch, isn't it? And I think that's the problem with the 5-3-2. It can very easily become quite a defensive, boring lineup. And I hope we can find a way to, if we're going to stick with this system, I hope we can do it in a way that's entertaining to watch, because it's one thing grinding out results. It's another thing being, and look at the press from Atalanta here. They're pressing us back a long way. We've got to try and find that out ball to Rashford. But yeah, it can be quite a defensive lineup. It can be, a back five can be a very attacking lineup as well, but depends what your intention is. I think tonight, it's going to be a hit on the break sort of a lineup. Here's Rashford. He might be worth a shot. Oh, he's unlucky there. Go on, Pogba, hit it, mate. No, this is McTominay. Deflection. Post. Oh, nearly a goal for United there. McTominay with the shot. It was never going in, but the deflection nearly put it in. So United hit the post there. Could have been 1-0 up. I think Ollie going to use Matic as a centre-back at some point if we stick with the back five. The trouble with that is Shaheen. He's got no pace. Do you think this might be a game where McTominay exposes himself for not being good enough, says Brian? Well, he nearly exposed himself with a goal there. Not literally, that would be hideous, but he nearly got a goal there, which is always a positive. I'm interested to see how Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka adapt this formation, because neither are wing backs. If they don't push high, we're playing two in midfield, says Sean Turner. I actually think wing backs is it's a hard thing for Shaw and Wan-Bissaka to adapt to, because they're fullbacks and they're used to being fullbacks, and a wing back is something very different to a fullback, because if they stick to their fullback tendencies, that's when it becomes a back five, and that's when it becomes very problematic. They've got to push forward. Ollie even mentioned it after the Spurs game. They have got to push forward. So I think Luke Shaw will adapt to it well, because I think Luke Shaw is very, very, very energetic. He gets called fat and stupid stuff like that, but his stamina is ridiculous at getting back and forward. So I think Luke Shaw can be a very good left back. I mean, the honest answer is, if we were playing with a genuine attacking fullback, a wing back, I would play Telles. I prefer Shaw to Telles, but if we were going to play with a three that's going to defend and wing backs that are their job is to attack, then Telles is freed up of what I think his weakness is, which is defensive play. And Rashford's causing problems here. That long ball out from De Gea straight away on the attack. But it's a good start from United. Atalanta have had a bit of the ball, but United looking more dangerous when we do attack. Maguire's got no pace at all, Shaheen. Exactly. That's why I wouldn't, Maguire would never. The question was, can Matic play in a back three? Well, Maguire never gets dropped. So would you want Maguire, Matic in a back three? You want your other two. The great thing about Bailly and Varane is they're quick. So Maguire will be. Look, if you're a centre back in a back three, it's an easy job. Because instead of two of you, there's three of you. So you've got compensation. But it's been quite an interesting game to watch. This will be, obviously, we are playing a 5 or a 3 or whatever you want to call it tonight. But the way Atalanta play, they press and they leave space. We'll play a lot deeper against Man City than we're going to play against Atalanta, because I think we'll fancy our chances against Atalanta. Whereas with Man City, we'll be very wary of. I think there might be a bit of a hangover in the Man City game, because it's our first home game since Liverpool. So I think we'll be what a lovely touch that was. Good pressing by United here. He's not giving the foul. Now he's giving the foul. But interesting first 7 minutes. It's not been too bad a watch, really, has it? Always looking at key chances, though. This was the chance for McTominay, and it nearly deflected in. I want United to play entertaining football in a 4-3-3 with the midfield comprising Donny, Bruno, and Pogba. God, is this too much to ask, says the vulgar artist. Well, interesting fact. I'm sure one of you or a few of you could give us the answer to this. Donny van der Beek hasn't played 1 minute since putting in a performance against West Ham, where he was arguably one of the best players on the pitch in the Carabao Cup. He's not come on as a sub even. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talks about you've got to take your opportunity when I give it you. Donny took his opportunity against West Ham and has not had a minute since. So how many minutes combined is it since Donny van der Beek played for Manchester United? However many the games are since West Ham was the last time he played. I think that was an offside there. He played against Young Boys. That was before West Ham, though. You can see the difference in quality between Pogba in his movement and passing compared to McTominay. He should take note, says Webath. I'm not going to talk about McTominay tonight. He's nearly scored a goal. Everybody knows what I think about McTominay, and in the nicest possible way, I just don't get it. I'm yet to be convinced. But so many people talk about him that there's obviously something there. But first Aka with United in a while. Please win, says Corbin. Dangerous. Good play by Atalanta here. Oh. Luke Shaw. Sir Alex loves McTominay. Mourinho loved McTominay. Carrick loves McTominay. Mark Goldbridge on Twitter. There he is. Look. Looks like back five is here to stay for now. Sancho, Greenwood and others not going to be playing much. Which is true. If we make we've only got 2 forwards playing tonight. If you're going to take off Ronaldo or you're going to take off Rashford, you're going to bring on Cavani. I mean, I'd personally play Martial. I think Rashford's only. If Rashford wasn't fast, I don't think he'd suit this system at all. But good thing about Atalanta is they'll make this game interesting. Whether they've got the ability to beat us, I'm not so sure. But they will make the game interesting from 1 to 90. I mean, look, what an entertaining game it was at Old Trafford. They're 2-0 up and we beat them 3-2. So I don't get why people like McTominay so much, as Pratosaurus Rex. I win the Aka. You want Quavers or what's it, Mark, says Corbin. Prawn cocktail Quavers for me. If they still do it. There's the ball over the top. We're looking for a lot. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Ronaldo works better with somebody next to him. But does he work better with Rashford's pace or Cavani? I think he works better with Cavani, but that pace is such an... As I said, if Marcus Rashford didn't have pace, I think he'd go with Martial. Because I think Martial plays well with his back to the ball. Oh. He's in down the left. Sabata, good cut back. It's a goal for Atalanta. And there might be an offside. Maguire's looking for an offside. He looks quite confident. To me, it looks like De Gea makes a mistake here. His first mistake of the season, if it's in. I love De Gea, but I'm just holding out for an offside here. Maguire seems quite adamant that it's an offside. I don't see how it can be an offside because it comes off a Man United player. What's Maguire talking about offside for? Nah, it's never offside. 1-0 to Atalanta. Well, I can't see how that goes in. What are we thinking? It's on De Gea, isn't it? Well, Ronaldo's saying about an offside as well. They're going to have a look at it. We might get away with it. There is a goal check, VAR. We might get away with this. Calm your horse. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this, but I am a big fan of VAR if it helps us out here. But it's like you don't react to goals as much sometimes when they're like that, because it's like, I don't know. It's given. It's given. I don't know. What was your thoughts on De Gea there? I mean, I can't criticise that man. I think he's been brilliant for us this season. But did he get caught by a deflection? I don't know. I've not seen it back, really. He seemed to get wrong-footed. It looked like a routine save for De Gea, but he seemed to get wrong-footed. Should have saved the shot, I think, yeah. But the thing is, I've been saying this for a few weeks now. De Gea will make a mistake. Alisson makes mistakes. Ederson makes mistakes. You know, goalkeepers do make mistakes. Like, you will get people going, get Henderson in goal now. If you want to do that, you want to do that. But people make mistakes. Like, I've got to dig in a little bit now. I suppose this will be very interesting now, because a lot of people were saying that if Spurs had scored first, you abandon a back five. Back five's really good if you're keeping a clean sheet. Bruno won't have the pace there. Comes back. It's interesting, though, because I don't think Manchester United were playing particularly bad. The trouble is, in a game where it's quite equal, you can obviously go 1-0 down. You can also go 1-0 up. Or it could stay 0-0. Sound like Michael Owen. If I ever sound like Michael Owen, I'm stopping. Yeah. If you see me on Instagram taking pictures of dead rabbits, you'll know that I'm finished, really. But Donny's minutes this season: EFL 90, Champions League 45, Premier League 6, says God Henke. Exactly. And we're playing a team that actually knows how to play a 3-5-2, says Scholes Ping. I love United, want to win, but feel so disconnected from the club and the so-called project, Sebastian. We're playing a team. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't react to that goal angrily because I thought it might get called offside. But it is a weird time at the moment. And I suppose it's because nothing surprises me. I think we could win both these games and we could lose both. We could lose both of them. And I think it's the feeling that even if we do win both or we lose both, I still don't know what we are. I think it's just like, I think when you concede goals, when you're like, I want to win the league. Oh, you've made a bloody mistake. Useless. It's almost that situation is when you don't know what you are, you don't know what you're moaning about, you know? So I'm like, I mean, and also we know we can come back into this game. Luke Shaw just volleys it over the bar. Well, hits it into the ground. Back five, and we're still leaking like a kitchen strainer, says Grant. It is a crap goal to concede, to be honest. I mean, I asked the question online. It looks like it was De Gea's mistake. It just looked like he'd been hit by a deflection or something. I mean, he'll have to take it. He'll have to take it as a fault. Yep. Anyone talking about Conte? He's at Spurs now. People will want De Gea out now with Henderson in, says Salah Ahmed. If they're that fickle, they're welcome to it. Scotty with the through ball, says Eric. What through ball? Pogba is selfish and arrogant. He's not a team player. Get him out, says Andreas. Matthew Murray, welcome to the Members Club. With the amount of shots De Gea sees, he's bound to make a mistake, says Tyler. All goalkeepers will make mistakes. Doesn't mean it's acceptable, but all goalkeepers will make mistakes. Rashford's just wanted a foul here. What are your hopes for the rest of the season, Mark? Says Harry. Reality hopes. Well, my hopes for the season is another treble. FA Cup, we can't win the Carabao Cup, but FA Cup, Champions League and Premier League. That's my hopes. My reality is, please don't put us back in the Europa League. Yeah. I can't do Thursday night again. You know, I'm just taking up yoga. I don't want to be doing Thursday nights. So I don't want to do Thursday nights. That's step one. And I don't want to be doing Europa League next year. So 4th place and getting through the group stage is probably what I think our ceiling is going to be. Robbo says, this is pathetic. I just want this Ollie nightmare over. It's very early in the game, mate, to be saying it's pathetic. It could have been any result against any team for all this season and last. His luck might be running out this time round, says Mark Dobby. Isn't the English teams are better than Italians kind of British arrogance? I mean, they were clearly better at the Euros, says Amir. Well, Italy were better than England in the Euros. They're domestic clubs. Serie A is not as good. Do you have Dea's fault or not? How many defenders do you need to change a light bulb? They were all standing about looking clueless, says Nick P. Yeah, well, I'll have to look at that goal again at half time. No, I just got it up on my browser and I'll just see it as it comes in. It might just mess up my thingy. Pogba on the edge of the box. Bruno back into Pogba, bit of space. Little dink. Oh, it should have been 1-1. Ronaldo wanted it into feet. He's actually telling Pogba off, but it was lovely play. This is why I like Pogba and Bruno. A lovely little ball by Bruno. And you know what? Ronaldo's right. Pogba dinks it up in the air. They say sorry to each other, but if he'd have just rolled it on the floor, I think Ronaldo would have buried it. Welcome to the Members Club, Mateus. And Joshua says, 17 months as a member. Can you call Levi Donovan a prat for his wanting to lose? Mark, back 5 has to go. Ollie has to go. Man City will ruin us, says Joshua. Thank you for being a member for 18 months, pal. Appreciate that. Pogba singing Europa League. Varane soon. Ollie out, says Juicy. Look, everybody can say what they like about Ollie out, but can we just bear in mind that we were 2-0 down against Atalanta and we won, and we're only 20 minutes into this game. So, look, we're 1-0 down. It's very rare that United don't score. And somebody said it was McTominay's fault as well. I need to see the goal back. I thought it was going to get chalked off. Luis Enrique is an opinionated manager, but he plays attractive football and is a winner just like Conte. Yeah, he won't leave Spain, Cherry. He won't leave Spain. Look, I genuinely sort of have had a week of mourning, and I do think that no matter what happens, we're going to have Ollie until the summer. So we better start hoping that we win games like this, because I don't want to be in the Europa League. And do I think Ollie should still be in charge? God, no. But he's got to be offside here. He's got to be off there. Offside Zabata there. How if he's onside there, how is he springing the offside trap? I think he would have been offside. I think Varane would have had him offside. Why did you pick the name Mark Goldbridge? It's Jamal. Mate, I've said it so many times, and we're trying to watch along. Why is Maguire always out of position? The guys can't run back fast enough, says Naveen. And Uncle Drew, with Conte unavailable, who's the favourite for Ollie's job? Ollie. It's the new Ollie. It's the back 5 Ollie. The back 4 Ollie's been sacked. This is the new Ollie. Freestyle. Sugar Daddy, yo, with the freestyler. Bam, 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 bam. Ollie revamped. It's too risky changing formations and system 4 months into the season. What happens if we lose back to the old system? It's a mess, says Sean Turner. Yeah, well, I think he will stay with the back 5 as long as it's successful. But you're right. As soon as you lose, what happens? that's why I mean, look, haters are going to hate, but this is my problem with Ollie going to a back five. It's clearly not his plan. He didn't plan to go to a back five. He's gone to a back five because he was facing the sack. But what happens when you lose with a back five? McTominay losing possession there. What happens when you lose with a back five? Do you stay with the back five? I think he should have stayed with the back four. And like Levin says, got it working. Instead of playing Greenwood and Rashford as wide forwards with the front two with Bruno. I mean, look, remember when we played with the back four? It wasn't that long ago. Bruno was almost like a support striker, and Greenwood and Rashford were playing like bloody centre forwards as well. It was a 4-2-4. How's about playing with a one forward, dropping Bruno back into the midfield, and then having your wingers drop back a bit when you haven't got the ball? Like, I think that would have worked a lot better, but we're now playing a back five again. Well, again, we're not really a back five team. I feel the Glazers should appoint a fans representative to influence their decisions. I vote for Goldbridge. Yeah, they would never do that. Not from Manchester. And Karaki, we need to go back 10, says Alligator. Mark, would you keep Ollie till summer if we were guaranteed Ten Hag? Nope. Thomas, I wouldn't. And Ollie has been backed more than any other manager since Fergie. How do you think Van Gaal or Jose would have done with this squad, says Kieran Byrne? Better. I never liked McTominay and Pogba. They never work. Good point, Sebastian. Very good point. I don't like Pogba and McTominay. Wazim's, I like them as people, but as a pair, I just don't like it. I don't think it very rarely works. Mark, I'm genuinely hurt with the way this season has taken shape. I don't know if I can cope with this level of manipulation. Ollie is with the Glazers, says Wazim. Nothing will change till the Glazers go. Why aren't the supporters groups enforcing the promised Glazers made during the protests, says Stephen Lee. Ronaldo FC says Black King. I think that... I don't know is the honest answer. I mean, look, Manchester United Supporters Trust have gone very quiet recently, and hopefully that's because they've got things in play. But I'm just looking at the goal again here. I think it goes through a bit of a crowd for De Gea, but he should still save it. I've just put a tweet out there. We'll probably put it up on the screen in a minute. But I would prefer McTominay and Fred to Pogba and McTominay. And that's not, I mean, look, I'd rather play Pogba and Fred, but I don't like McTominay and Pogba. They just don't fill me with confidence. It doesn't look like they're coherent. At least Fred and McTominay played together so much, too much. But I do quite like Fred and Pogba as well, but I don't like that at all. Conte should be on the touchline tonight for us, says Melps. And here's Zayn Miassi having a laugh. Yeah, so there's my tweet below. McTominay and Pogba just don't work, in my opinion. Apart from the Europa League final, they just don't seem like a good match. Fred and Pogba better, or even McFred. Don't know what your thoughts are on that. Yeah, we could do. In fact, we're going to do something. We're going to do if you want to, we can put tweets on the screen now. We can also put your chats from YouTube. So if there's any sort of match observations or anything like that you want to whack on Twitter, just give me a follow at Mark Goldbridge and reply or just use the hashtag Ask Goldbridge. There you go. Put your question in hashtag Ask Goldbridge and we'll pick some out to put on the screen. It's not 2-0, by the way. Mons, you've got my authority, Vandy and Susan, to just block them. Don't time them out, block them. We've got 47,000 people watching. I don't think we really care about blocking people who are putting fake scores in. So instant block for fake scores. It ruins it for, well, it doesn't ruin it for me because I'll just keep talking, but it makes it harder for me to read. Pierce Young says we're looking awful. Yeah, hashtag Ask Goldbridge on Twitter if you want to put some stuff in, and we'll pick some out. Stephen Lee says, I don't understand the supporter groups. Are the key people being paid off by the Glazers? They look more like Glazer supporters. I mean, I think that's unfair to say that, Stephen. I don't think any supporter's happy with the Glazers. I just think after all the protests of May, people are probably like, well, how do we even replicate that again? Just because we've had a bad start to the season. It's, the Super League was quite a big thing, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm so embarrassed. I feel like I've convinced Ronaldo my party will be great and he's the only one that turned up and now he can't leave, says Ryan Kelly. I don't understand. And also, do you think certain centre midfield partnerships not working is down to bad coaching or the players individually? I mean, obviously a coaching is going to have a part to play in it, but on that one, I just don't feel that McTominay and Pogba, I mean, McTominay's not having a good game. He's just played a bad pass there. He's been tackled a few times. He's just not having a good game. When he's a bit like when he's got space, McTominay's a half decent player. When he's being pressed, he's not. He can't deal with the press. So, but okay, I'll have a look at that. This thing is not working, says Durov. It might still work. But it's not working coherently, is it? It's not easy on the eye. We're going to be reliant on moments again, I feel. Rashford looks defeated already. I forgot Rashford was on the pitch, Luke, to be honest. Ollie isn't like going anywhere soon, unfortunately, but after recent calamities and embarrassments, what do you believe would be the final catalyst for change? Missing the Champions League, says Stu. Well, look, Van Gaal missed out on the Champions League, got the sack. Moyes missed out on the Champions League, got the sack. Jose was going to miss out on the Champions League, got the sack. Even though he was still in the Champions League when they sacked him. What do you think of the young centre-back we're linked with from Carlisle United called Ethan? I don't know who that is, says Jacob. Sorry, I don't know who that is, Jacob. So, but thanks for the super chat. Plenty of time still to go. It might help. Mark, do you think Sancho will play today? Says Ash Goldbridge. Hashtag Ask Goldbridge. That's from Tom. I like this. I like the way we can bring these in. I don't know what you're doing in that picture though, mate. But is what? Okay. Well, we might see if it continues like this. He might have to go to a back four. Rashford is being really lazy in the press and it's causing us problems, says Rory Saunders. And Atalanta might have another injury here. He's holding on to his knee. Loving the content, maybe not the performance at the moment, but while we have to rely on them, I wait for the moments the board needs a good slap, says Cam Armstrong. Running down the wing, hear United sing, Viva Ronaldo. Viva. You what? Ask Goldbridge, what's your opinion when I see Scott McTominay work rate is phenomenal, but his ability is crap? That's why Ollie picks them. Does it go off ability or work rate? No, I think it does go. I think you're right. I think it does go off ability, to be fair. Oh, it could be two. Oh, bloody hell. Eric Bailly there. Zabata. Eric Bailly's just stopped us from going 2-0 down. He's going to have a look on VAR, but people need to realise how good Wan-Bissaka is. Another solid performance so far. He's been far better than Shaw this season. The agendas need to stop. Bailly stops it being 2-0. Just checking for a handball here. I don't think it will be. Although in Europe, if there's any bit of a hand out, it will be given. I read that Woodward didn't want to sack Ollie as his last act before he leaves. It's a big decision, says Rowan. If his hand's up and it's hit his hand, they'll give it in Europe. I'm telling you now. It's not like putting the hand up to speak to the teacher. They'll definitely give it. If it's hit his hand, no, he's not giving it. It's a corner. There we go. The thing is, you never get the replay. But I tell you what, I would say from Eric Bailly, brilliant block. because I thought he was going to score. It literally was bouncing for him to volley. Here it is, actually. It's Pogba loses the ball again in a stupid position, and Zapata should score. I don't know what Eric Bailly did block it with, but it looked like his bloody hand, I'll tell you that. Another hashtag Goldbridge question. With Sancho, Donny and Greenwood on the bench, how will Ollie make them work under this formation? We'll have to change it, won't he? But the problem with Ollie is that we've seen it before. Will he ever sub Ronaldo? No. Will he ever sub Bruno? No. Will he ever sub Rashford? Probably not. I mean, Rashford's so greedy there. He's shooting from outside the box when he could have fed Ronaldo in. Yeah, that's not a penalty. When you watch it back on slow, no, it's a bit lucky from Eric Bailly, but it's not a penalty. I've got one more on the screen. Do you agree with the people saying Ronaldo made the team worse? No, definitely not. If we were playing like Liverpool last season and we're really unlucky not to win the league, and then we were playing like this, I might agree with you. But we're playing exactly like we did last season, and we now got one of the world's best strikers there. That's not on the world's best striker. Getting really tired of these Italians going down like they've been shot, says Andrew Hughes. Ollie has a job because the Glazers are scared. Remember, a point's a good result for us here, by the way. 3 against 3 here. Be careful. Be very, very careful. It's a 3v3. He goes wide to Zapata. Another block by Eric Bailly, and they'll take the corner there. Ollie has a job because the Glazers are scared that the Finns might go against them if he gets fired. They see him getting cheered during matches. Surash, you're spot on. I've been saying it for a long time. They won't sack Ollie because he protects them. You sack Ollie and you bring someone who's not a fan favourite in, then they'll start looking at the Glazers again. Go Let It Out, Oasis. Lovely song. And thank you for becoming a member. Mark, I have to say this. I've been United for 35 years and never felt so sick to my stomach, says Apollo. It's amazing how many fans who've been fans for a long time have been talking a lot recently, because you get the impression that, you know, there are certain fans who will just follow what the club does no matter what. But there are certain fans who've been fans for a long time who are just pissed off. Do you know what has become disturbing trend? Mark, Bruno moaning at the ref all the time. I wish he would just get back to being brilliant Bruno, says Stephen Atkinson. Mark, I know we do have defensive problems, but I really don't think we can do anything unless we sort out a defensive midfield partnership. Well, that's on the manager, Joe. Varane could be going off. Pogba and Rashford poor tonight. Ollie has to change it at half time, says Connor. Mark, why don't you set the standards instead of blaming them? Surely this is United level 40-year-old striker or not, says Jack. Varane going off. Was he rushed back too soon? That's a big blow. Well, I don't know whether he's going off, but if he is going off, this is a huge blow. He might be all right. He's walking. Might be a tactical go down and try and get a word from the coaches or something. I don't know. Let's have a look what's happening here. He's walking, so it can't be. I don't know. Maybe he's going off. He's walked past Ollie. Now, if he's going off, we haven't got a centre-back. He's going off. Greenwood's coming on. Back to a back four. Fucking hell. So if we win this game now, we're going to win it with a back four. So what happens to the back five? What is the best formation for United? From Frank. I mean, well, we're just about to go back to the wingers that fucked up against Liverpool. That's, you know, like he could bring Sancho on and he's bringing Greenwood on. So we're going to go back to wide wingers. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it might work. It might bloody work, but Greenwood's on. So we're back to a 4-2-4, I think. That's worrying with Varane because it reminds me of what happened. It looks like the same injury that he had against France, and I worry if we brought him back too quick. Ollie's the most clueless individual I've ever seen, says Neon. Ollie's McTominay and Pogba cannot handle their press. We cannot keep the ball. The formation may change, but the same old problem, says Matthew Bailey. We look so sloppy and can't even string a few passes together. Varane going off only going to make things harder, says NMCC. Second half, Rashford off, Cavani on. Rashford is rubbish and has been for ages, says Karamar. And Bruno reminds me of Ozil, has great potential, but a stinking attitude when things don't go his way, says 58 Go. Second half, we've done that one as well. I like Pogba, but he's a liability on the ball, says Josh. Zabata into the box again, and it's another corner. Valverde time, says Connor. Rashford has 0 work rate off the ball. Pogba having a stinker. Team looks clueless, says Michael. I don't know why Sancho hasn't come on here. Bit of a confuser. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Well, United on the break. On the break, FC. On the break, FC. On the break, FC. We're still on the break, FC. Rashford. No, we're not on the break anymore. Too slow. So we've gone back to about a back four now, basically. Welcome to the Members Club, Abanath. Rashford lazy, doing absolutely nothing. Pogba losing the ball non-stop. Now with Greenwood, we have 2 selfish wingers. Gave over, says MWK. Well, you say that, but we beat Atalanta playing more on the front foot. I said in my preview yesterday I would have played a back four, but it will make us more attacking. It makes us more vulnerable, but you just need to attack better than they do. But it's not been a very good half. I mean, 40 minutes. Bloody hell, I thought we'd only had about half an hour. It's not been a very good half from United, but a point would be a good result. I'll guarantee we'll get at least a point in this game because it's just typical United when they play shit to find a way or a moment somewhere. But that Varane injury looks exactly the same. If you were watching the injury, he got the injury in, which was against France, which was for France. It didn't look. He didn't go off on a stretcher. He just went off. He just was like, something's not right. And it looks like exactly the same injury. Now, considering he wasn't meant to be back until after the derby, and we've tried to play him twice in 3 days, I think he's been brought back early again. And questions yet again have to be asked about the fitness department of Manchester United. Ollie changing the formation is like a bad chess player changing his opening strategy. It's still not work as he's a bad player and cannot coordinate his pieces properly. Mark, we need Tamori from the United Career Mode. If you know, you know. He's done very well for me, Ben. Yes. Thanks for all the super chats. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. They've got an overlap on the far side again. Luke Shaw, very lucky there. And we've took 3 players out there, so we should have a little bit of a break going on here. Go on, Rashi. Switch it. Switch it, Bruno. He's gone for a cross. It's never going to work. Mark, we need Bruno needs to drop into midfield as soon as Greenwood comes on. Watch how there's a gaping hole between the defense and the attack. Yeah, I'd be very worried about that midfield too now. If Ollie had a brain, he would put McTominay at centre back, brought Donny on to keep the back 5 system. So Stuart Bates. Yeah, there's loads of options. We finally have the centre back partnership we always wanted last season, says NYYK. Yeah, Bay and Maguire now. We are playing a back 5. But no, we're not playing a back five. Another Ask Goldbridge tweet, mate, do you think United will finish in the 4 now that Tottenham has Conte in and Arsenal looking good with every passing game and we're just relying on moments every game? Starting to feel bad for Sancho. I think he was staying at Dortmund. He would have been better off at Dortmund because he'd be playing football. So it's, Donny would be better off at Ajax. You know what I find absolutely amazing is that we get an injury to one of our centre-backs and we abandon the system. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Mark, what was Varane's injury record before? We haven't ruined him already, have we? Says Karen. To be fair, somebody will know better than me, but he did used to get injured a little bit towards the end. Ali, thank you. Welcome to Members Club. I think the difference between older school fans and newer ones is simply that older school know that things don't have to be this way. P.S. Let's go, Brandon. So Stu. Well, I'd be stunned if Varane plays against City, which does weaken us, yes. I've got to say, since Varane's come back, because he didn't play against Liverpool, did he? And we saw against Spurs, he's a world-class defender. So, hey, Mark, McTominay is Sean Dyche type of player. I don't know why he's rated so highly at United. Like, I have zero clue as to why he's in the team, says Ali. And what's your prediction of Liverpool's group? Like, what positions do you think their group will finish? Well, I think Liverpool are looking very good in their group envy. I'm doing a watch-along tomorrow night, actually, for that Atletico Madrid, but Liverpool are looking very good. Liverpool are looking very good in general. I thought the Brighton result was fantastic for them at Anfield. Fair play to Brighton. I wouldn't want to play Brighton at the moment. Was Mason coming on was plan B or panic move, says Chiri. Atalanta just a better Leeds, to be honest, says John. They are, yeah. What's your prediction of done that one? We only did great against Spurs because they were like a mirror of us. Bad coach, ineffective tactics. Right now, United seems to be the same as always, says Marcellino. We 2 wingers, Diallo and Sancho, Rashi, Tony Greenwood, Cavani and Ronaldo all want to be the number 9. Too many generals, not enough soldiers, says Russian Nightmare. And back 5 with Phil Jones for the Manchester derby, says Shay. Well, good interception by Eric Bailly. I mean, we're surely going to play a back 5 against Man City. So would it not make sense to stay with the back 5? I'm just very, very confused. And look, we're only 1-0 down, so we can definitely still get a draw. And a draw would be a decent result in the context of the group. Next goal's key in this, because I think if you go 2-0 down away from home, it's not the same as being 2-0 down at home where you've got a crowd roaring you on. Good goal. What a goal by Manchester United that is. 1-1, and it only takes a moment. Moments and class again from Ronaldo and Bruno. That's what we are. Superb. I was literally just putting a tweet out for half time to generate conversation. Manchester United make it 1-1. It's just world class between Ronaldo and Bruno to Ronaldo. It's just brilliant. Mr. Champions League makes it 1-1. Do Atalanta deserve to be 1-1? Well, Manchester United have scored a very good goal there. A very, very good goal. 1-1. That's what happens when you've got Cristiano Ronaldo in your side. And everyone's been going Ollie out, Ollie out. I don't want Ollie as manager anyway. I've already said that. But we're only 1-0 down against Atalanta, and you've got a player like that. He's got 4 goals in 4 matches for Manchester United. Imagine how many goals he'd get in a team that was playing really, really, really well. But that's quality again. It's the same thing that happened against Spurs. It's Ronaldo and Bruno. And when you've got players like that in your team, how can you not make top 4? And this is why I think no matter what goes wrong, because of the quality of player we've got, no matter what the system, if you can get the ball to them on the edge of the box, they're going to cause problems. I wouldn't be surprised if we go and win this game now, because we can just counter. I said it in the preview, I think we're better with a back 4 in this sort of a game. I don't know why we played a back 5. So 1-1, Manchester United. Lovely goal by Ronaldo. Viva Ronaldo, running down the wing, United sing. Yeah, we'll be able to vote for your player ratings in the second half as well. What's your prediction of Liverpool? I've done that one. Back five with Phil Jones for the Manchester Derby, says Shay. And Ollie's hand puppets on the touchline are rather comical. Give him a stand-up Netflix special, says Alligator. Look at our bench. Look at our first team. It's ridiculous. The quality we've got is just bloody ridiculous. And when you've got quality like that, things like that can happen. Bruno needs respect for that. The awareness, the selflessness, and the little flick to Ronaldo. What else could you want? Says Red Harlow. Shoo! I sort of missed it. I was trying to sort out the tweet for half time. Bruno shoots there last season without Ronaldo, says Tom Seven Cooper. Well, they've got a chemistry and they've got a respect and they've got an appreciation. Bruno just wants to. Bruno's different this season. I mean, he's always been very creative, but yeah, I think he would have had a shot last year. But Bruno just loves setting up goals for Ronaldo. Is Ollie saving Sancho for Man City then, says Pranav? Oh, let's not start talking about that. Mark, don't forget the great pass from Mason into Bruno. It was a very good pass from Mason as well. You're very right, Darry. You're very right. But Mason and Rashford are going to have to put a shift in second half. We're about to hit half time here. There's 4 minutes added on. Lucas said, did you see McTominay hit the post? He's a class player. What's the formation is Ollie playing, says Apollo? So we've gone to a back four now. Eric Bay has made the difference in this half, saved us a fair few times already, says Astral. And think we will be singing when the going gets tough all season now. Sorry, it's stuck in my head now, Mark, says K-Flow. Ask Goldbridge, just when I wanted to ask when is Sue coming for dinner, there she is. Thank you very much, Icon Strain. Or Icon. Right, half time. It is 1-1 at half time. Can't say I'm surprised. I think that this Atalanta team will always gift you a goal. Not gift you a goal. They'll gift you chances. But look, that's a really weird half again. Again, it's just pure quality from Ronaldo and Bruno to make it 1-1. I mean, Pogba, McTominay haven't worked. We've lost Varane, which looks like I don't know, but it looks to me like that's the same injury for Varane. He went off from the French game with the original injury like that. He wasn't meant to be back until after the Manchester Derby. Have we rushed another player back because we needed him desperately, and now we're going to lose him again? Varane being out again is a really, really big concern. But the biggest thing for me is that we're not losing. So look, let's not get ultra negative or anything here. But what does it say to you about the coach when we're playing a back five, a player gets injured and we go straight away to a back four and he brings Greenwood on again? I mean, it's worked. Greenwood played a very good pass into I think it was Bruno who knocked it back for Ronaldo. But what happened against Liverpool? Because that was Rashford, Bruno, Greenwood, Ronaldo front four. And we've gone back to the game. And I don't understand why we abandoned the back five. Like, if that's the plan, you can't just abandon it because you're 1-0 down and you get an injury. Like, why couldn't he put Luke Shaw as a left-sided centre-back and put Telles at left wing back? Wan-Bissaka as a left-sided centre. Put McTominay in there a centre-back and bring on Fred or Donny. I just don't understand. I mean, it's worked, but on the bigger picture, why are we playing a back five and then Varane gets injured and we abandon it? And why not? You know, I don't know. And what happens if we win this game? Are we playing a back four against Man City again? It's so what we're just very hard to read at the moment. But ultimately, we are 1-1, and a draw will be a good result. And ultimately, I just don't want us playing Thursday night football. So if we can find a way to win this game in the second half, and I said it in the preview, and I don't want to say, oh look, I know what I'm on about, but I did say in the preview I would play a back four against Atalanta. They're like Leeds. Why play a back five and invite pressure when if you sort of go a little bit toe to toe, you'll leave space. And we go with the back four, and we create the best chance of the game, and we score from it. So I think that the back four is the right system to play against Atalanta. All the talent wasted on the bench is so amateur hour from the coaching staff, says Brian Spence. Ali masterclass. If he doesn't know what formation he's going to play in the derby, then how on earth could Pep? Genius, says Jacob. I'd rather try Martial at the left than Rashford. Rashford doesn't help out at all, says Gergo. I don't think Rashford's had a very good half, but he'll probably score in a minute. We're still figuring it out, FC, says Kia. Also, all the talent wasted on the bench. We've done that one. And let me come back to here. Because he literally makes it up as we go, says Brad Lewis. These makeshift solutions are exactly what make you doubt Ollie, says Rowan. Yeah. Ollie doubt for some people. Ollie out for others. Ollie in for others. Let's be fair. Bay going to get man of the match curse. Van der Beek got it, then never played again. Not sure why Lindelof always above him, says Wayne. Eric Bay's had a good half. He's been the best centre-back in our defence, hasn't he? And his pace is going to be very important. Zapata's a very, very good player. Ollie should be questioned more on his signings alone. Donny and Sancho alone for over 100 million and not even playing him, says Brooklyn. I've always found that very weird, Brooklyn, actually. I want to talk about a few other things, but I've always found that really weird that the club stand by the manager but have spent ridiculous money on players that he's not using. And for a club that's obsessed by money, surely they'd be thinking, we've spent 110 million pounds on Van der Beek and Sancho. We're paying them wages and you're not using them. I mean, I think any normal club would be asking a question of that. But what I do want to talk about, and what may continue to be a problem in the second half, and I'm sure many of you have noticed it as well, that midfield doesn't work. Pogba and McTominay just does not work. We spoke about it 20 minutes into the game. I know they played well in the Europa League final, but Fred and Pogba played brilliantly in a Europa League semi-final against Sevilla. McTominay and Pogba, 2 games against Palace, again today. There was another one this season. They just don't work well together. They don't look comfortable. I don't know why. Maybe Fred's smaller, so he's got a lower sense of gravity, so he can be a little bit more tenacious. But McTominay's not performing well under the press. I think Scott McTominay's a player that likes to have a touch, do a little swivel, and then hit it 40 yards. He does not like it when people are on him. And Atalanta are on him, and it's not working. And Pogba as well, he wants to take a touch, and they're on him. I don't think Pogba and McTominay are working particularly well. They certainly aren't very good at picking up the runners. I'd be thinking about bringing Matic on, especially now we've gone to a 4. I would be looking for a little bit more defensive cover for my defence now that we've lost one of the centre-backs. So I'd be very surprised if we don't see a midfield change by the hour mark, because I do not like Pogba and I do not like McTominay together. So I'd either, it'd probably be Pogba he takes off, but he's got to do something to protect that defence, because we're not playing with a back 5 anymore and we've just lost Rafael Varane. So I think Atalanta will make chances. I think we will make chances. How do I think the second half's going to go? I can see us winning it. I can see us losing it. I can see us drawing it. I'm Michael Owen again. But no, I think it's a 45-minute game now. Atalanta know they've got to win. If I was Ollie in that dressing room, I would say, look, Atalanta know they've got to win that game. They're going to play a little bit more open than they would have done. And therefore, we've got to be very clever with the ball on the break. But we've bloody got to defend better, because if they get the next goal, we're going to be in trouble. The coaches couldn't get... I think if we get the next goal, we can win it 3-4-1. If they get the next goal, it's going to be a battle. The coaches couldn't get Conte's assistant on the phone when Varane got hurt. Only option left was the 4-2-3-1. Also, Sancho catch a ride with Donny in January. Forget what he looks like, says Akil. This is the type of game Ajax players are developed to deal with. Donny would make a huge difference in this game. Tabo, not going to lie, Donny van der Beek would be perfect for this system, but he's gone, isn't he? How do I get the Last Dance shirt? It's normally in the video description, but I don't think it actually is. Just search United Stand Shopify and you'll find our Shopify page, which is where it is. That's Lash. Eric Bay is so underrated. If I was in charge, it would be Varane and Bay in defence. Pogba has been crap today. He's got to go. Too inconsistent, says Geeky Stuff. Ollie's at the wheel and driving us off the cliff, says Varane. And knowing Ollie, Fred will probably come on instead of Matic, says Kevin. And masterclass from Varane. He saw we needed to go to a back 4 and sacrificed himself, says Bradley. And our Ollie executed the Houdini escape again with Conte going to Spurs, says RS. Well, look, it's 1-1. And I think United certainly can get back into it. I'm just looking at the goal again here. McTominay's interception is a bit unlucky. It finds its way to Zapata. There's 5 defenders back. 5 defenders back there, and they can still roll it back to Ilicic. And I'd like to see. This is the angle I wanted to look at. Why does De Gea not save this? I think it's probably because it goes through Shaw's legs. He should still save it. Bailly or Maguire, for me, it's Bailly, says Giovanni. I've always liked Eric Bailly. I know Ricky doesn't rate him, and I know a few of you don't rate him and everything, but I think as a centre back, I want my centre back to be physical. I want them to be quick. And he's good in the air as well. So I've always liked Eric Bailly. I mean, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know that last season I was obsessed with breaking up Maguire and Lindelof to play Maguire and Bailly. I like Bailly. I think he gives you something. Love how Ollie only positively impacts the game with forced injury changes. We can get by with individual brilliance against these low-level teams, but decent manager will outcoach Ollie. I'm dreading Pep, says Stu. Look, Man City is a derby. Anything can happen in that game. But I think it will be very interesting to see what happens with Varane. Because if Varane is out, that just makes it a lot harder job. And I presume we'll play a back 5 against City. So what will his 3 be? Lindelof, Bailly, and Maguire. So now that we don't have 3 centre-backs, I guess Ollie has to switch formation yet again. This team is so ill-prepared under Ollie, says B. Yakov. Well, it's almost like fans could see this coming, isn't it? What were we talking about last week? What were we talking about with Levin before the game? You can play a 5-3-2 under Ollie and you can say it's the way forward, but the squad's not set up for 5-3-2. We've got too many attackers and only 2 attacking positions, and we've got not enough centre-backs, but 3 centre-backs. He's got no centre-back on the bench. So Varane comes off and he has to go to a back 4. So 5-3-2 it's like Levin said, it's not sustainable. It was never sustainable. And it was either going to be broken by somebody beating it or by an injury. Desperate coaching. I'll read that one now. Desperate coaching, embarrassing how clueless Ollie is. He shouldn't even be a manager, let alone for United. Why is this not obvious for everyone, says David? Because he'll probably end up winning the game, David. This performance just shows that the Tottenham result was all down to the players being motivated by the loss to Liverpool, not an improvement by coaching, says Leroy. Ask Goldbridge on Twitter, if United wins the game, do you think this would increase the confidence and morale of the players enough for them to perform against City? A derby's a derby. I think only a fool predicts a derby. Man City will be favourites because they've got the better coach and the better players, but it's a derby at Old Trafford. And look, we got smashed at Old Trafford by Liverpool. I'm not saying the crowd makes us unbeatable, but I've also seen us beat Villarreal and Atalanta because of the home crowd. So, you know, a derby is a leveller anyway. A derby at Old Trafford, we've got a chance. Mugging up a formation, then understanding it, says the vulgar artist. Will we ever see a Bay-Varane partnership in the future as our worst defender continues to be the club captain, says Anna. He's not playing well, is he, Maguire, to be fair, in general. I like Pogba, but he plays like this too often. Hopefully he goes in the summer. I honestly feel his departure alone makes this team stronger, says Patrick. I think the problem with Pogba now is that he's probably already mentally checked out anyway. McFred against City midfield, dear God, that will be brutal, says Bradley. Yeah, because how many times? Look, I don't really want to talk about McTominay until we do the player ratings and the match reaction. But, you know, I'm fed up of saying it. I don't have an agenda against McTominay. I just don't get it. Like, every time I watch him, he doesn't play well. And he's not played well again today. And then he'll put in a performance like Tottenham where he was okay. And then everyone will ramp it up to he was brilliant. And Ollie will come out and say he was head and shoulders the best player. I thought he was good against Tottenham for the first time this season, but then he's back to normal again. Like, he doesn't seem to be able to build on any performance. And De Gea made a mistake, but we can't go in on him. The guy's been our player of the season so far. Plan B out the window. So back to plan B. Ollie has to go, says Osvaldo. Yeah, De Gea was at fault for the goal. You know, I think De Gea is, you know, clearly one of my favourite players, but I'll always call out a player when they're at fault. De Gea made a mistake. He's at fault. People make mistakes. Goalkeepers make mistakes. Will we ever see a Bay Varane? We've done that one. I like Pogba. We've got to do that one. McFred, we've done that one. Do you think Bay will be more of a regular starter if Varane is out, says DJ? Not if we play a back 4, it'll be Lindelof and Maguire. If we play a back 3, it will be Bay. Love the show. Thoughts on Sancho and what exactly could be the reason he's been benched so often? Mate, do you want me to be honest? Probably because Ollie doesn't rate him, but then he bought him. I don't know. I don't know. We've got 52,000 people watching, so please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, because we're on the road to 200,000. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. We'll live every match day with the watch-alongs. In the second half, we will be releasing the player ratings page on the website where you can vote for every player out of 10, 6 being the average, and vote for your man of the match, which we'll go through in the match reaction. We've got the fan forum. We've got fan reactions as well to come for you. Every morning at 10 o'clock, we're live. We have an 8 o'clock show as well. Lots for you to get involved in. So make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, on the road to 200,000. And also, do you like Phil Jones, says Pascal? I don't really want him to play for Manchester United. What do you think will happen to Sancho? Do you think he will end up like Van der Beek, or do you think Ollie will find a way to integrate him into the squad? That's on the hashtag Ask Goldbridge. If you want to do that on Twitter, hashtag Ask Goldbridge, leave some stuff and we'll pick out the best ones. I wouldn't put Jadon Sancho into the Van der Beek category for this very simple reason. Van der Beek was 35 million and came from Holland, or Netherlands. It's easier to leave a player out for 35 million from another country. Jadon Sancho is an up-and-coming English talent, and we spent 74 million on him. The press talk about Van der Beek a little bit. It won't be long before they're demanding to know what's happening with Sancho, because when it's an English player, it's different. Like this Sancho player, to the press, this could be a player that makes us win the World Cup. You know, that's how the press think. So I can't see that Sancho will be left out forever, but I also don't understand why he's not picking him. Ken, welcome to Memscott. Look, I do get little bits from the training ground. Like when Diallo first went in January, I was told he's tearing it up. I've not heard, and look, you know, some people will say, well, he's obviously doing crap in training. I've not heard that Sancho's a problem in training in relation to his attitude or his ability at all. So I don't know what's going on with Sancho, but we are in November now. Let's not forget, the season started in the middle of October. We're in November. It still feels like the season's early, but we are in the middle of... Sorry, we started in the middle of August. It's now November. This season is nearly 3 months old. I don't know why Sancho's not getting into the team. Do you prefer waffles or pancakes, says David? I'll let the chat decide on that. Probably waffles if it's with a bit of ice cream and stuff. Pudding. Bay has been classed tonight. Take off Pogba and free Donny, says Chris. So Atalanta have made a substitution here. I presume it's for another injury. I mean, let's not forget, they are carrying a lot of injuries. So, oh no, this is Pasalic coming off for Jimziti, who is a centre-back. And he's normally a first-team player. So, yeah, I don't know what that means for them. Who would win a fight, a gorilla or a grizzly bear, says Jay. Why are we doing That's Football questions on United Stand in a key game? Also, another hashtag on the screen. If Ollie loses his next 5 games, do you think the board will be stupid enough to sack him? Mate, he shouldn't be here now. How many more games do you want him to lose to be sacked? Like, he shouldn't be here now. So I think they'll keep him till May. Personally, I think we should start Phil Jones against City. What, for the laugh? I wouldn't risk Phil Jones in a game like that. Fresh juice or a smoothie, says Dave. Oh, here we go, David. I do like a smoothie, actually. I'm not going to lie. I like a smoothie. I need a stretch as well. Oh, we're on 45 and 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 40. Running down the wing. Sing. Good tackle by Maguire, that. Yep. Ryan Johnson, thank you for becoming the member. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Summer or winter, says David. Winter. I do like the summer when it's here, but they're two very different seasons, let's be honest. Jay's just messaged me saying that Zapata's going to put Maguire in a body bag. I don't know. I think United will win this. Good play by Atalanta here. They do like... What is that there? Oh! He's missed. He's crap, that Zapata, isn't he? He was offside anyway. I don't know. They seem to overplay it a little bit here. Atalanta, he has a shot. Yeah, Zapata's miles offside. And he misses anyway. Oh, it's Eric Bailly who gets back again, to be fair. Running down the wing, hear United sing. Eric Bailly. Oh, careful. We don't want to lose Eric Bailly. We can't be losing him on an injury. Is everybody's stream okay? Because we've just lost 7,000 people, which is weird. Okay. Nice ball out to Greenwood. This is what we need to do in the second half. We've gone to a back four. We're not playing a back five now. They're going to go for the winner. So in the second half, we've got to play more attacking. Eric Bailly looks all right now. Probably just a little bit of a strain. Oh, Pogba again, just about gets away with it. Rashford, Bruno, Rashford. He won't win that. Oh, look at the confidence of the player there. But Wan-Bissaka's, shove your confidence. Wan-Bissaka's fantastic there. Come on, man. Come on. If we win the ball in this area, which we have done, come on. It's better from United. We've got to. I think the best form of defense for United against Atalanta is attack. Greenwood. Oh, he's hit the post. He was offside anyway. Better from United. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner to do that. Good play. I think Greenwood was offside, but I do think attack is the best form of defence for Manchester United in this game. Scrappy football says it's your boy. Zapata's not going to catch Eric Bailly. He's done well, and he's won the free kick. I tell you what, Bailly's having a fantastic game. And Zapata's fouled him. I never understand why Ollie doesn't use him more. I mean, for me, if I had to answer the question and not sit on the fence and just pretend I don't know, I think he doesn't pick him because he doesn't like him on the ball. And obviously Lindelof is good on the ball and Maguire's relatively good on the ball as well. So I think that's why they do it. But we seem to have started the second half a little bit better, dare I say. I think, as I say, against Atalanta, I think the back four is the better way because you get an extra attacker and they do leave space and they go man to man. So it's like when you play Leeds, because they're going man to man. If you get past the man, you get the space. Well in by McTominay. Oh, he's going to get a booking here, McTominay. Yellow card, threw his hand out. How was that a foul? Scooby-Doo, how was that a foul? Doesn't speak like that, but does play for Scotland. It's part of the joke. Yellow card for McTominay. I think it's just one of those where he's left his hand out. I don't think it's. I don't think that's a foul, really. In defence of McTominay, I don't think that's a foul. I really don't. Did it against Son, yeah. That was a joke as well. Oh, nice little ball. There we go. Scooby-Doo. He's looking up. He's looking up for it now. You won't want to see him when he's angry. It's a bit scrappy. Is this an artificial pitch? Or is it real grass? It just, to me, it looks like it's bloody 4G or something like that. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Malavia. I think it might be a foul, but I don't think it's a yellow card. Next goal in this game will be key. We'll panic if we concede it. If they concede it, they've got to go wide open, and then we should be able to pick them off. That's a foul. That's a yellow card then. Oi, 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 oi. No, not giving it. Not giving it. What's your thoughts on the game, everybody? It's a 5G pitch, is it? Yeah, it doesn't look natural to me. We'll win it. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of bad passes on this pitch, and if we can just get our passing going. Oh, Pogba, you've got to win that header, mate. Do you think Sancho will leave for betterment of his career in the summer like he did with City if still on the bench? He'll find it hard. Gamer, Reaper, he'll find it hard. We need Sancho on, says Sebastian Bodry. It's who he brings him on for, mate. Because he won't take Rashford off. He won't take Ronaldo off. He won't take Bruno off. But remember, a draw for United, as much as it's not what we want, it's a good result for Ollie. In the context of the group, a draw would basically put us through, because then you beat Young Boys, you've got 10 points. That should put us through. I don't know what's the score in the Villarreal game. Does anybody know? Yeah, so Villarreal are winning 1-0. Another hashtag, Goldbridge. Ask Goldbridge. Eric Bailly, man of the match. Wan-Bissaka also seems to be having a good game. I like Wan-Bissaka. I think he's a bit underrated. I think people have sort of given up on him, but I think he's a good player, and I think he's had a better season already this year than he did last season. He's more consistent. What do you get when you cross Ronaldo with McTominay? Says Daniel Patel. I know where this is going. Scooby-Soo! And just watch Ollie bench Bailly for Lindelof for the next 6 months after this game, says Benson White. But that wouldn't be a surprise, would it? I mean, look, there's the table on the screen. So Villarreal have got 7 points at the moment. We've got 7 points. And then Atalanta would have 5 points. A draw is not a terrible result for us, really, in the grand scheme of things. A win would be better. And I think we should be trying to win this game, because if we were to win it, McTominay with another foul. He's got to be careful, McTominay. He's already on a bloody yellow card. And they know this, the Italians. They know. And I think that's a final warning. One more. He's got to be careful, McTominay. Bring Sancho for MC and play him at number 10, says Alfie. And just watch. Pogba's been a passenger in this game, says Druv. I like Paul Pogba, but I think Paul Pogba is leaving in the summer. And this was always the problem of Paul Pogba leaving in the summer, is that he scored. He's offside. He's offside. He's offside. Zabata. What's the matter, Zabata? You're offside, mate. Yeah, he's miles off. Look at Maguire, though. He's so slow, Maguire, isn't he? That recovery pace. It's ambulance pace. Nowhere near it as well. I mean, if he'd gone down, it would have been a red if he'd have been onside. Zabata is causing problems, and I think we're very lucky that we've got Eric Bailly tonight, because if we didn't have Eric Bailly, Zabata would be destroying Lindelof. I don't know why they're doing a bloody goal check. It's miles offside. You're wasting time. You're wasting time here. It's miles offside. People are saying it looked like it was onside. It was miles off. Come on. Why are people saying he's not off? I need to go to bloody Specsavers if that is genuinely onside. He looked miles off. People are saying onside. I'm getting worried here. It's close. Would Victor Lindelof make a good CDM in a midfield pivot with Jesse Lingard? Says Matt Dawson. Well, I apologise. If this ends up being onside, I've made a right error here because I don't know what I was looking at, but he looked miles off. Ollie's bum is squeaky bum time. It's close. My heart's beating like a drum. It's like bloody Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'm getting it in my ear that it looks like it could be on. Goal. Oh, for God's sake. I really apologise. I almost feel like I'm bloody Harry Maguire. I thought he was miles off. I really thought he was miles off. Well, everything I just said about Harry Maguire there has to now be part of what I'm talking about. I've seen slower snails at a funeral. It was bloody ridiculous. The recovery pace of a corpse. He's just too slow. He's too slow to play in a back four, isn't he? Oh. Useless defending. Oh, it's like watching Stevie Wonder play dodgeball. It's just casualty time. Someone kick casualty theme tune in. It's just I actually genuinely thought it was offside, and I'm sort of mocking it, going, God, Maguire's really slow, isn't he? We're lucky there, and he's bloody onside. I'm just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe we've got ourselves back into this game only to go behind again. There's half an hour to go. How is he left the midfield like this, though? The midfield has been crap all game. I hate this manager. Best thing about it, if we lose, Ollie will still be here until the end of the season, says Jack Birtles. And it's okay, Mark. Wait for his "here we go again" tweet, says Brad Lewis. Doesn't matter who the manager is if we don't win anything with overrated crap like Maguire and Rashford, says Karamu. Maguire is a joke. He actually, the ability as a defender is abysmal. I believe Bay and Varane is our best pairing. Too bad he will never see it under Ollie. Look, Julian, I mean, I need to see that goal again because I thought it was offside. Clearly, it's not offside because they've analysed it with their lines and everything. But the sad thing is, when I thought it was offside, I'm joking about how slow Harry Maguire is. But you can almost forgive it because he looked to me like he was 2 meters offside. Therefore, he's got a 2 meter head start. If he's onside, Maguire, to me, is closer to that ball, and Zapata gets there 2 meters ahead of him. I mean, Maguire could, if Maguire's tackle had connected, it would have been a straight red and a penalty. So it's just calamitous, absolutely calamitous. And he's made another mistake here. Bay again gets us out of jail. He's playing dreadful, absolutely dreadful, Maguire. I'd sub him off. I mean, it's just... Should we go to a back five? Hashtag ask Goldbridge. Well, I don't know what we should go to. I just don't understand how. I mean, everyone's talking about back fives and back fours. How has he stayed with Pogba and McTominay, who, if I was doing the player ratings now, I would give them both a 4. I think they've been dreadful. And look, there's always a way back into a game like this because Atalanta play wide open. I actually did predict a 2-2 game, so maybe it will be 2-2. But it's He's got to change one of them. Got to change one of the midfielders. I mean, Matic. I don't really, at this point, I do not understand why he hasn't changed the midfielder. Wan-Bissaka's having a good game. I mean, Ronaldo's had nothing to do in this half. Bruno. Ronaldo. Greenwood. We need a moment. Get it to Shaw and put up. How many crosses have we put into the box again as well? Wan-Bissaka. Why can't we work a cross into the box? Bruno. Now. Yes. No, it's not good enough. Maguire is our best player. Watch the game properly, says John Armstrong. He only subs at 70 minutes, says Hunter. On the next episode of Will Ollie Get the Sack, we are getting beaten by Man City, says Pranath. And I don't know what's going on here. I think we've got a fire. A foul. We ain't got a fire. Fire! Well, he is onside. Look, I'm just looking at that wrong. He's so slow, Maguire. He's so slow. Well, we need some late magic in the Champions League. To be fair, third time lucky. We've done it 3 times. We've done it twice in our last 2 games. Villarreal and Atalanta. Previous 2 games, late winners. We could win 4-2 or lose 4-1, and there'll be no rhyme nor reason to either because we make up as we go, says Brad Lewis. Well, look, we're back in the. I guarantee Paul Scholes will be saying the same thing again. Whether we win or lose, it's not a win for the team, is it? I mean, it is a win for the team, but you know what I mean. It's not a. The football's atrocious again, isn't it? What I'm trying to say. We're relying on individual moments, and we've got a 2v2 here. Although I think Eric Bailly nearly. Oh, he does well again. I think Eric Bailly's had a really good game. And there's been fire, the fair's on fire. That's a classic Alan Partridge quote, Steve. But imagine if we didn't have Bailly's pace tonight. We'd be in huge trouble. Because yet again, it's his pace that gets us out of trouble there. It's our throw in. Serious question. We lose today and I'm 99% sure City will smash us. What did the board do? Conte is gone and Ollie can't stay. Clueless. He will stay, Sean, though. Like, I don't think we'll lose the game anyway, but he's not going anywhere. But neither are United under Ollie, are they? I mean, we're now, how many, we beat Atalanta quite fortuitously. We beat Villarreal quite fortuitously. If we get the draw or a late winner here, it's fortuitously again, isn't it? We're not going anywhere. We're directionless. It's just any way the wind blows. And that's not going to be sustainable for a team to win things. Seriously, what is wrong with Maguire? It says his skills have dramatically declined over the last 30 days, says Samurai. If we lose this and lose to City, who would you like to see the new manager? Graham Potter is a good shout. You won't get the sack, Brendan. This is what you get when you bring world-class manager in to get best out of players, says Darren Mullaney. Well, United will go for it now in the second half. What is their defender doing there, trying to play a back heel? Good header by Pogba. Now win the second ball. Conte to Spurs proves what getting a good director of football can do. If we had someone like Patrici, we would have pulled the trigger on Ollie by now. Great point, Aram. That is a great point. United are actually in a position where if you lose tonight in Villarreal and Atalanta beat Young Boys in the next game, you're back in the Europa. I'm fully aware of that, Dylan. Cheers. But there's still time. There's still time for us to pull this back. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Would Keane ever get the manager role, Mark? I don't want him to. True method. Eric Bay is miles better than Harry. Can't get more than 2 games in a row, though. Shame for him, says Mitchell Costello. Will we be battered by City, says Brad Lewis. I wish people had stopped talking about City. We need to get the point here. As a minimum, we need to get the point, because otherwise we're staring back to Thursday night football and my yoga classes are over. United now look like a bunch of lads that play football every Thursday afternoon. Nobody coached them. They just play together and doing their best, as Matteo and Zian. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Maguire cannot be captain anymore. He makes so many mistakes and has no authority. He also needs to be dropped. He's under too much pressure. I mean, that's a good point from Andrew as well. You know, when your captain's costing you goals, where's your leadership? And he has cost us a few goals this season. But look, Atalanta, I think we've got them a little bit like Spurs here. They're trying to pass through us, and we've started to press a lot better. If we get this press going for the last 10 minutes, last 20 minutes, we might get a couple of goals. Yeah, hashtag Goldbridge. Hashtag Ask Goldbridge. Maguire 100% still injured. Matic is coming on for Pogba, so it's never going to be McTominay. And Cavani coming on for, I would imagine, Rashford. Yeah. Can't argue with the subs, to be fair, can you? I mean, there's a few he could have took McTominay off as well. But, Mark, are we accommodating Maguire because he's English? Because if he was any other nationality, everyone would have demanded he be dropped and sold, Christopher. A ruthless manager would drop Maguire and also not play a back 5 with this team, says Sam. Maguire is better at Hull than he is with us. Ollie should use Bay next to Varane, says Chris. You know what? Funnily enough, by complete accident, I was watching a bit of highlights of a Hull game against Chelsea over the weekend. And Maguire was playing for Hull, and he was a right-sided centre-back. And he looked a lot more comfortable because he's right-footed. We play him as a left-sided centre-back. Now, I think he likes playing there, but he is right-footed. Fans, Bay man of the match. Ollie McTominay is Ballon d'Or quality, so he's definitely man of the match. Bay was the worst, so bench for the next match, says the vulgar artist. And £1 billion squad down to a bunch of pizza cooks, imposter of a manager. Well, that's a bit racist, Brad Lewis. You can't call Italian people pizza cooks. I don't know if it's racist, but it's definitely something. Stereotypical, I think that's the word. But we're United doing a bit better here. Hit it, Luke. Second ball. Ooh, second ball. Matic. Oh, come on. 20 minutes to go here. And I tell you what, Atalanta need the win. So they're gonna do what they did at Old Trafford. They're gonna sit in. Now, what is the formation with Mason, Ronaldo, and Eddie up front, says CB? Corner comes in. That's for now. Muriel's coming on now. Gives him a little bit more pace. Ilicic coming off. Player ratings will be going up in a minute. This has echoes of last season in the Champions League. Down 2-1 against PSG in a crucial game and a shitty midfielder on a yellow, 1 foul away from a red. Says John T. Does Ollie need to win all 3 games to keep his job? Hope this means Ollie has gone even with the draw, says Stephen Lee. And xenophobic is the word, says Dan. Okay. I'm sure it was meant in jest, but you can't call Italians about what food they eat, because if you did that with another nation, it's called racism. And I think we all know which one I'm on about. Quite rightly, it's wrong. What is the formation now? I've done that one as well. I hate that our main centre-back is the first to put up hand for offside like he's a bloody cheerleader instead of dying to get the ball or the player, says Bunja. You know what? It's one of my pet hates on FIFA, the game. You know, they're not offside and they put the hand off and it stops the momentum of the sprint. If Maguire hadn't put his hand up, he'd have been a metre closer to Zapata and he might have made the tackle. that moment where you put your hand up, it stops your momentum of actually doing your job. You're absolutely spot on. It's the sort of thing you see on FIFA and you moan about it, saying, why have they coded the game like that? Well, they've probably done it because they see players in bloody real life doing it. We've got to be careful here, though. Next goal is, well, I keep saying next goal's key, but it really is key because if they get it, it's game over. But we've got to try and get it. I mean, Ronaldo's been a ghost second half. I mean, we've literally got nothing to him. Where's the midfield again as well? Matic has come on and Matic is just going to sit in. He's not going to drive forward, is he? Oh. Can't wait for the City game on Saturday. We're playing so well. We're going into it with such momentum. It's going to be great. I don't know how McTominay's not been sent off, to be honest. He's on a yellow card and he's done 2 tackles that could have been a yellow card since then. Maybe I'm daft, but if you are 2-1 down, why are you taking off an attacking midfielder and putting a defensive one on? Brendan, you took the words right out of my mouth. As Meatloaf once sang. I don't know. Because I can see Matic has just gone and stayed in front of the back four. He's not going to drive forward, is he? Cavani's on the left wing. Bruno's become a striker. We're playing a 4-2-4 again. We've just got to create that chance. We need that moment of brilliance from Bruno to Ronaldo. We've got to create that chance again, and get out of Dodge with a point, really. Because I think if we get an equaliser, we'll just defend. We can't go and try and win it. Is Maguire the worst captain we've had in the Premier League in terms of leadership? Says TM. Maybe I'm daft, but I've done that one. Okay. Thanks for the super chats, by the way, everybody. It's 15 minutes to go. Another shit pass by McTominay. Watch out. There's a ball through. Oh, he nearly made it. But it might break for United here. We're just so bereft of pattern and industry and chemistry, aren't we? There's no sustained feeling that we're going to create something. It doesn't mean that we won't create something. It just doesn't feel like there's that we play with any sort of pattern. We've got a player that can, like, here's Bruno. He can produce a moment, but I mean, we're getting a lot of the ball here. Ronaldo's our deepest player winning this back. You can't say he's not up for it. United subs would have happened at 68 minutes, no matter the score. The lack of in-play management is hilarious, says Joel Young. I feel we'll find a moment here. Scott off before he gets sent off. Donny on, says Spencer Goodwin. Go on, Luke. That's got to go first time in the box. Cavani. Wan-Bissaka hits Greenwood. Good tackle, Wan-Bissaka there. Unlucky. Wan-Bissaka's had a good game. Remember, Wan-Bissaka's had a good game. This is so bad, but staying positive, there is still time. Midfield slow again, says Mohammed. Mark, cancel your yoga, but don't worry, we'll bounce back, says Brian Spence. Yeah, I was hoping to take up yoga on a Thursday night in the new year. Not if we're in the Europa League. I need it for my back. Actually reminds me, I need a stretch. Well, it's defence against attack now. You'd think with the quality of attackers that we've got on the pitch, we will create a chance. But having said that, we have got Maguire and Matic and McTominay in the midfield too, so they're not that creative. We've got to be careful of this sort of a ball. Oh, that's the sort of ball we've got to be careful of in behind Maguire. Atalanta on the attack. That's all right. That's all right. Player ratings is open. I'm going to whack it in the chat. It's on the unitedstand.com if you want it. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Just about to put it in the video description for you as well. It's in there. I mean, subs need to be mentioned as well. Subs equals Matic. It's just weird. I've got to say, it's weird to bring on a midfielder. Who's a CDM for an attacking midfielder. I did predict 2-2. That's all I'm saying. Prediction bridge. And I predicted that we would beat Spurs. So, you know what? Stick with me. I'll make you famous. I don't want Thursday night fucking football. I do not want Can you, young boys, they might be able to save us. Can they get an equaliser against Villarreal? Is it still 1-0? "13 minutes to go here." McTominay, Howler on yellow, not subbed, says Sebastian Bodry. We need creativity. Ollie scans the bench. Donny, nope. Sancho, no way. Brilliant block by Eric Bailly from across again. He's shaking his head. We need creativity. Ollie scans the bench. That's from Brian Spence. Bailly and Aaron Wan-Bissaka have been fantastic. Won't see Eric again until 2022. It's a lovely cross, and Eric Bailly's been the man of the match. That's about. I think Wan-Bissaka and Bailly have played well, but Mark, are you ready to live in a world where Newcastle win a Premier League title before we do? I already knew that was sidekick Simon. As soon as Newcastle were bought, I thought that was highly possible. Like, we haven't got the owners to win a title. They haven't got that ambition. Nothing happens with the corner, although the second ball headed over the bar. He's been a thorn in the side all games, the batter, and he heads it over the bar there, wins the header. Credit has to go to Bay. He's been class, says Ian. Yeah, but it's a bit like when David De Gea's man of the match, isn't it? Our man of the match is a centre-back and a right-back. Like, it tells you the story. You've got Ronaldo, Bruno, Pogba, Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani. And I know Cavani's only just come on, so it's unfair to say that. But, you know, you've got all these attacking players, and our best two players are Eric Bailly and Wan-Bissaka for me tonight. Just not creating any bloody chances. We need one of those Bruno Ronaldo moments. No crosses into the box. I've got so many notes for the match reaction. It's terrible. 10 minutes to go. Just get the equaliser now and go to sleep. You know, back 10. If we get the equaliser, we can go to a back 10. I don't care about going for no winner. Just get the equaliser and save us from a Thursday night nightmare. Because we're in oh my life. Maguire again, he's going backwards. Luckily, we've got the recovery pace of Bailly again. Oh God, he's up against Maguire. Help him, Luke. It's easy save for Maguire. I think I saw Donny warming up. Is this the moment, says Valabav? What, 10 minutes? No superstars, just a well-organised and well-coached team compared to a team full of superstars with no direction or coaching, says Sean Turner. Maguire turns like the Titanic, and surely this is time to bring on a game changer like Donny, says Nick. And Mark, I bet in the post-match interview, Ollie blames the injury forcing a change of formation, says Uber Melon. Oh, come on. I don't want Thursday night football. I've bantered it for 5 years, and every year we seem to be back. I'm never going to... I won't disrespect you again. Just don't let me be there. I don't want to watch Man United in the Europa League again. Please, Champions League knockout stage. It'd be nice just to know what it's like. Apparently, Ronaldo's not played in the Europa League since he was 18. It wasn't even called the Europa League when he was 18. It's probably UEFA Cup. We've got a hashtag Goldbridge here. Just remember, we're so close to being where Ollie wants us to be. Where is that exactly? Well, if we get a point... Oh, Maguire gives up a freaking throw-in. What has Scott done in this game? Oh, my God. McTominay, Maguire. I mean, Pogba before he went off. Rashford. I mean, these are his big players. I mean, Bruno to a certain extent. Yeah, I'm not going to avoid that either. All right, Bay's out of position. Oh, that was lucky. That was very lucky. So Wan-Bissaka's played really well. Really, really well. Sure. Go on, Luke. Slip Cavani in. Oh, don't give it to bloody McTominay. That's the worst player to give it to. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. 10 minutes to go here. We're not winning this. Draw. A draw will do. Whatever happens, shit. Wan-Bissaka again. I think he's just played so. I've been really impressed by Wan-Bissaka and Bay. I can't fault those two at all. They played really well. And here is Eric Bay bringing it out from the back. Well, we've got another hashtag, Ask Goldbridge. What would the score be without Eric Bay? I just think there's been so many times his pace has helped us out against Zapata that, yeah, we would we'd be in, if it was Lindelof and Maguire, we'd be in trouble. And look, losing Varane has made it harder for us, but on ball, Greenwood, he got back. Cavani, Bruno, Ronaldo, Bruno, McTominay. No, terrible ball, Bruno. Absolutely terrible. He's going to bring Sancho and Van der Beek on here. Last throw of the dice, isn't it? It's a fan substitution at the end of the day. He's doing what the fans have wanted for a long time. But they're only going to get 5 minutes to do it. I hope they bloody do it. Zapata from distance, and De Gea has to put it to wide. Corner. Man, oh man. Difficult save for De Gea, that, because he bounced it up in front of him. This is one of those games where I'm sort of keeping it on the download. I'm so desperate for us to score because I really think if we lose this, I don't want to alarm people, but we will be on 6 points. Atalanta and Villarreal will be on 7 points. Atalanta have got young boys to come. If we draw it, we've got to win in Villarreal, basically, if that is a place, whatever they call it. Villarreal are 2-0 up. Got to be making the subs now. If he's going to bring him on, he's got to do it now. Yeah. Sancho and Donny. McTominay and... I don't know. Bruno. Okay, guys, I've ruined your career now. Go out there and save me, says Brian Spence. Bayern is scary. They're currently winning 5-2. Okay, that was from Eric. £110 million for 5 minutes, says Graham. McTominay is Ollie's long-lost son. Somebody found him in a basket in a river in Scotland all the way from Norway, says Shav. And Arman, thank you very much for subscribing. Eric Bay is making Maguire look like the £30 million man from Villarreal, says Cristiano. Zane had it away. The thing about Atalanta is, I mean, this is a massive 3 points for them if they can get it, and they're not even playing deep. Like any other team, you would see them playing deep, and they're not. Still going for it. Oh, ref says play on. Luke Shaw might have to be a bit careful here. We may as well play to the ball. There's no way Cavani's going to put this out. Atalanta put it out. Look, listen. We don't deserve anything from this game. We absolutely don't. But think of my back. Think of my yoga classes. I don't want to be in Europa League next year. I don't care if you want Ollie out. I don't want Ollie as the manager either. But I don't want to play in the Europa League next year. There are lines you don't cross. I always want Manchester United to win. I bloody want us to equalise because I don't want to be in the Europa League. But we've done sod all, and I'll put my hands up. Like Reef, put your hands up. I totally agree that Atalanta, Atalanta barely deserve to lose to us at Old Trafford. They definitely don't deserve to draw this. But, you know, those are the breaks. We just got to bounce back again, says Alan Burns. There is more time in a Rocket League match than playtime for Sancho and Donny van der Beek, says Eric. Ollie, when you get your chance, you have to take it all 3 minutes of it, says Yakov. Why bring on Sancho now? What's the point? Clueless. Well, it's a throw of the dice, isn't it? Because if they score, it works. But I'll say this. Whether we get an equaliser or not, this is not about... I mean, that Spurs game was just about pride. And Spurs were shit because, you know, we did lose to Liverpool 5-0, but we lost to Leicester the week before. We had 1 point from 12. A bounce back's not one win against Spurs. A bounce back is a performance that goes on for 3 or 4 games, 5 or 6 games. Whether we get a draw or not here, this has been shit. Do you think Salah will win the Ballon d'Or? If not, who? Says Envy. I'm not thinking about the Ballon d'Or at the moment. I'm thinking about Thursday night football. Is it going to come down to good evening, isn't it? Says Christopher. Well, he might not even be the manager then. Awfully quiet about Bruno's performance, as Rash. No, player ratings. Player ratings. Link in the video description. Mark them out of 10, 6 being the average. Eric, but Wan-Bissaka will get that, surely. Well done, Luke Shaw. 5 minutes added on. There's plenty of time here. Plenty of time. God, you don't normally get 5 minutes in the Champions League. This is a sign. Here's Donny. Donny, cut it back. Oh, so unlucky. Ronaldo. Still Ronaldo. Oh, what a goal! Forget Thursday night football. So absolutely fantastic. You can get in the bin with your Thursday night football. We're not going to be in it because Ronaldo's done it again. World class. Absolutely world class. That is absolutely superb. Magnificent goal by Ronaldo. Do we deserve it? Fuck off. Absolute shit. Absolute shit. Such a bad performance. But when you've got a player like that out of absolutely nothing again, that has saved us. That's why he's Mr. Champions League. That's why he's the GOAT. Magnificent, absolutely superb goal by Ronaldo. I don't know how he does it. He did it with the header at Old Trafford. I don't know how he does it. He is absolutely world class. World class. And no more Thursday night football prospects anymore. Put it in the bin. Put it in the bin. 2-2. He is absolutely superb. They're reviewing something, but there's nothing to review. There's nothing to review. Well, you look for what? Check over. It's a goal. Yes. Play on. 2-2. Oh, release. Release. I told you. I got bantered last week when I said Ollie's a lucky manager. He's the luckiest manager in the world. We are shit. We are absolutely shit. We'll probably go and win it now. We're so bad. But I don't care if we win or I think winning it would be nice, but it would be very harsh on Atalanta again. And to be honest with you, a draw is fine. Donny. Oh. Goal kick. Do you think Donny and Sancho have made a difference? I do. I think they have. I think the tempo's gone up a lot quicker. I thought Pogba was shit. I thought McTominay was shit. Maguire's been shit. Bruno's not been very good. I mean, to be fair, I'm only saying not very good because he's one of my favourite players. Bruno's been shit. Greenwood got the assist as well. Yeah. Donny and Sancho effects is God. Henk. But yeah, I mean, look, it's Ronaldo. It's 2 goals in the Champions League. It's fantastic. And he's got 4. How many has he got? 5 in 4 for United. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Make sure you do your player ratings, by the way. Links in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. We'll go through that in the match reaction because I think there's going to be such a contrast. I think there's 3, 4 players that have played well tonight. And there's 5 or 6 players that have been total horseshit. And look, it's not going to do anything about anything, isn't it? You know, the reality is this has been a shit performance from United. The only reason we're not losing this game is because of Cristiano Ronaldo and Eric Bailly and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's the most individualistic performance I've seen. There's you know, coaching-wise, a shambles. But when you've got players of this quality, things like that can happen. My only disappointment is that when you've got players like this quality, imagine what you could do with a decent coach. You know, we're grinding out results because of this quality. What could we do with a decent coach? And that should be it. That should be it. So we've got the match. I'm not going to hold back in the match reaction. I mean, I'm not totally red-tinted glasses. I just don't want to play in the Europa League. But I feel massively sorry for Atalanta. They don't have the quality of player that we've got. They were very unlucky. You know, that was an amazing night at Old Trafford. But they were unlucky. And they're unlucky again tonight. I mean, you take Ronaldo out of this tie, they'd have beat us twice. It's as simple as that. They'd have beat us at Old Trafford, then they would have beaten us here. But that's football. Our squad is probably worth 10, 20 times what theirs is worth. You know, it's David against Goliath, and we're Goliath. So get in the bin. Give Donny a 10. It will be next year until we see him again, says Christopher Williams. And Mark, change the score on the match reaction. I will do. I'm powered by Honda. We're so lucky. Ollie better give up Bay, the biggest hug he's ever given him, because without him, we would have been out of sight a long time ago. Yeah, lots to talk about in the match reaction, of course. And I will be smiling again. I bet he's bloody smiling because, you know, that's a loss. That is a loss. I know it's a bloody loss. I know what a loss was. Thursday night bloody football. Ronaldo's just special, very special. One of the most special players the world's ever seen. And Ollie's a very, very lucky manager. And to be honest with you, if you're judging that game over 90 minutes, we were shocking, absolutely shocking. But, he survives and he's going to keep surviving. He will keep surviving. Anyway, I'll see you on the match reaction. We'll be live there in a minute. Make sure you do your player ratings and let's discuss the whole lot, because the good is Ronaldo, Bay and Wan-Bissaka. The bad is just Solskjaer and half of that team. But I'll